welcome back to episode High Five.
Ooh,
Just
that was nice.
That was a good snappy slap. My hand hurts.
What is it, 6?
This is episode 5.
5.
This is episode 5.
It's flying, dude. It's flying by. And
Wait, is this episode 5?
I
It is
don't even
episode
know.
5, yeah.
3 was Star Wars, 4 was Apocalypse, 5 is this one.
This is episode 5.
This is episode 5, dude.
Holy shnikes.
You guys are blowing it up. It's going crazy. I don't know if you've looked at the analytics the last couple. We haven't really talked about it. We've been pretty hands off with this episode.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about you. I was purposely not trying to acknowledge it on Facebook and stuff so that I could see how it did naturally.
Just organically.
Yes.
Watching. Before we get too much further, let's get into the salon shakes. I'm thirsty.
You're
Here we go.
thirsty.
In 1, and 2, and 3. Oh.
Ooh, he's a little off, but
off, but it gave it echo effect.
What are we drinking, man?
We are drinking the Wicked Apple.
Hello.
This was brought to us by Celeste, a regular member of the Peanut Gallery and the wife of none other than Zenith Dark Sky. She brought us the Tall Boys of Red's Wicked Apple, one of my favorites. So
we're having to split up costs here and there.
Diving it up.
Life is rough out here, having to split up some costs. So Matt hit me up. He's like, "Can y'all get the beer?" I said, "What do you think? I'm part of this podcast or something?" No.
Heck?
No, but I had a lot of things to pay this week, so we couldn't really do much. But she came home with she surprised me and came home with a couple Tall Boys for us. We do have some other things to try.
We do have some other things to try on this podcast. In fact, yes.
So this isn't beer and wings. I joked about it earlier. This is liquor and wings this time.
This is the Liquor Wings podcast.
We both pre-gamed a little with a couple shots here and there and whatnot. So I pre-gamed with the one shot, then we did the other shot, and then I finished the buzzball, and you did a buzzball.
Yeah, I was about to call it the Powerball. Like I'm playing the lottery over
here.
Yeah, playing the lottery with the Powerball.
Sometimes you are, man.
Yes,
you never know when you're just gonna stand up and you're like,
ooh. Yeah.
You know, and
or
you
win
hit
$1
the
million.
lottery.
It's either or, you know?
Yeah. Stand up and win $1 million. I wish that's a possibility.
I will stand up all the time. But, man, it's good to see you. I missed you.
Yeah,
How's it been the past couple of weeks?
Pretty decent. I told you before, since we're not hitting it this month, but we thought about hitting the mental health thing this month. I'm without my Lexapro right now. Money's tight, and you know how the healthcare system is.
Doesn't like you.
It doesn't like me, and so it's like $20-something for the thing, or $20-something for gas to make it to work every day. So, I had to pick and choose there, but. So I'm I would say, a little out of sorts. I'm a little wacky. If you guys hear me just like really spacing out with some weird stuff, just talking about, which today's topic we'll get into in a second, but it's weird anyways. Yeah. So it's camouflage. It's content camouflage.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Good name for some kind of content, some video or podcast or something. Content camouflage.
Like the more truth is often said in jest kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you make jokes about how miserable your life is, and on the inside you're like, I'm dying while you laugh.
That's me at work. I would be talking and I'm like, man, those people are just going crazy on the interstate over there. I wonder what would happen if I just walked in front of it. And then everyone's like, yeah. And I'm like, you don't know that I want to.
That was a serious question. But you all failed. No, well, I don't know. That's for real. And I'm here for you. I tried to be this week a little bit more. I tried calling you. I think I blew you up a couple of times. Just reaching out. I love you. So it was reaching out to talk, just to touch base, not talk about that, but just how's that?
In general.
I
will say at my work, my bosses are being super cool about it.
Right on.
Because I told them, I was like, yo, I might be a little spicy. I might be a little this or that. Because my wife knows. A lot of people know I get a little temperamental when I'm falling off the Lexapro. Because it's giving me serotonin, so all of a sudden I'm without the serotonin, so I'm like, everything wants to be a fight. So like today, first time I've screamed at a game in like a month. I was playing Delta Force before we came here, not streaming, just playing it.
I often scream at Delta Force, but continue.
And I was shooting someone and I kept getting sniped from the side. And it's the map of the trenches and stuff. And I'm in the trenches thinking I'm full cover here, like popping out, like I got this. I'm doing my thing, and then from the side, and I'm like, no! And I was like, F-bomb, And
It's weird when you scream F-bomb, because everybody's like, why didn't he just say it? But you're just like, F-bomb!
Yeah.
It's,
that's exactly, I yelled F-bomb in the game.
I'm so proud of you.
But, anyways.
Self-censorship.
Yeah. But besides that, streams have been going pretty
Streams
decent.
have been good. I haven't been able to stream as much.
Yeah. I've got a sneeze coming.
I was like, you are cooking something over there. I'm blessing you! Yeah, streams have been good. I've only twice this past week.
You're lazy, man. You're slacking.
No, it's other responsibilities.
It's not like life gets in the way or anything.
Yeah, life. No, but yeah, it's dedicated a couple times. We did run Borderlands 3, which was mad good.
Borderlands 3, and then last week we did Baldur's Gate 3.
We did do Baldur's Gate 3.
Hopefully one of the two or both becomes a semi-regular thing that we can stretch to when we get the time to do it. Because I think neither one of us wants, on the short days, I think neither one of us wants to hit like an hour stream on a story game.
Yeah.
We usually just do multiplayer for that.
When we have a couple hours to devote to it, we can really get into the meat and potatoes of it. Yeah.
Be sure to check us out there, man, and come watch those streams and be with if you like the vibe here, the energy between us, or chemistry or whatever, it's the same thing when we're playing games. It's the same exact thing.
It is exactly the
same. Riffing back and forth, hurting each other's feelings, or
he thought I had
calling
feelings.
each other.
It's weird.
High School Musical people.
That was funny. If you were watching the live, you got that joke. But if you were not, I will not repeat it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So,
how have you been, man?
I've been good. So, my wife and I, we've been really trying to focus on. You mentioned life. Life is hard. So we've been really trying to buckle down, try to focus on some things. Got some definitive answers on some stuff that we were looking at as possibilities one way or the other.
We talked about
it. Doesn't really give you a concrete answer as far as, yay, this is the way we're going. It's more of, hey, concrete answer, you're not going this way. Let's focus this way. So,
well, hey, the no is an answer.
No is an answer.
That's what I was just talking to my boss about this the other day. I was like, what was really nice about some places when I was trying to get hired or applying or going to interviews, the places that will call you and tell you didn't get the job.
Yeah.
Like you could call me and tell me I sucked and I didn't get the job, and I'm going to be happier with that than just not hearing at all.
Like, bro, why do we interview you? I feel dumber having interviewed you.
That's fine, and that would be okay, because it's like, at least I know, okay, I'm not cut out for that, you don't like it, but I get an answer. A lot of these jobs, I'll wait a day or two before I apply to something else if it's something I really like, and then I just don't hear anything, and I'm like, should I apply somewhere else or not? Because I like that job or that idea, but
so no is an answer.
Yeah, no is a good answer.
It's an answer. It's
a definitive.
We almost said that in unison. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Definitive. Yeah, it's no is an answer, and but that's this past couple of weeks for us, man. We've been life's a journey. It is. There's ups, there's downs, there's in betweens, and Angela and I, out on our deck, we've had a couple of good talks, and we had a really good talk the other night, and it's just like, hey, focus fire. We need to focus fire with a target that we can hit, and keeping out all the boring details that you guys probably don't care about. We've been really focusing and going, this is the direction we're going to go from this point forward. So, and we're really trying that. So that's where I haven't been on the streams as much, because I've been just sorting out life. I try to make sure I hit my at least twice a week. If I do more than 3 times a week, then I'm being lazy.
You got some spare time. You got something's going on.
Something changed.
You're slacking on something, or something's happening for you.
Yeah, no, it's but 2 to 3 times a week, I think is cap for me right now. Is just the fact that I have a lot of other things going. I'm rehabbing snakes. I'm rehoming and rehabbing, or rehabbing and rehoming. Those kind of things I've got going on, and it's just a lot of pots on the stove. So, but my passion is gaming, podcast, family is ultimate precipice of where we want to be.
Yeah, you're a man of priorities.
I try to be. I definitely try to be.
I'm not.
You're like, matter of fact,
I'm a man of I will do everything until I drop.
That's
which is not great, but it gets stuff done, but it's not great.
Well, before we get too much further, but that's how my week's been. It's not been a bad week. It's been hasn't been a great week as far as like endorphins popping off and everything going good, but it's been a great week in the sense that I've got some definitive answers and direction.
There's been a lot of times this last couple weeks that I wanted to message you and be like, man, things just feel off to you, but I don't know if it's feeling off or if it's just because I'm off the Lexapro or what. But
no, things feel off, bro.
It's just been like a low couple weeks. Not for the podcast. Podcast's doing great.
Podcast is great.
So
YouTube
thank you
popping
guys.
off. Thank you for Mr. Anonymous. We'll leave you out there for now. Thank you again for you sharing and caring the way you are. We've had recent episodes.
We have a live sound effect.
The crickets?
If you guys hear crickets in the background, the whole episode, people are going to be like, this episode was a joke. These guys were bored. So boring. The peanut gallery was crickets.
I just heard it when you said it.
I've been hearing it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, is that real or am I tripping?
No. So yesterday was feeding day. I've got a little zoo up here in the loft studios where we record, and yesterday was feeding day, and apparently one of my frogs did not eat all their dinner, so one of the dinners is singing.
Yeah.
Like, I am free, the Lord is good to me.
So if you guys ever thought our jokes were really poor, well, at least now you know for sure they are.
The cricket also does not enjoy our jokes. But want to give a couple of shout-outs real quick. Want to say our sponsor,
Yes.
U.S. Pawn and Loan, they have agreed. I talked to them right before the podcast. They have agreed to continue the 10% off on all firearms.
Firearms, heck yeah, dude.
So if you come in, U.S. Pawn and Loan, you have to tell them, that's the critical part, you have to tell them that you heard about them or you heard about this promo on the podcast.
I heard someone close to us got a pretty decent something the other day.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, if you come up there, just let them know you heard about them. Oh, the Lord, quit blasting me in the eyeball finally. So there's a
I mean, you had natural lighting over
placed sniper window where the Lord is like, you say one more little word, I'm gonna pop you in the sun. It's
coming back.
It's like tags me right in the left eyeball the whole time. So somebody was able to take advantage of a good deal. But there's also another deal they're going to do. 50% off on your first pawn.
Ooh,
so normally, typically, your pawn, if you're not familiar with pawns, when you pawn something, when you get it out, there's a 25% charge.
Yeah. Let's break it down for him, man.
12.5%.
Here's my phone.
So
$1,000 phone.
Let's say it's $100.
Okay.
That makes math simple. It's $100. So if you're like, hey, I want to pawn this, I'm going to come back. They give you 30 days. I want to pawn this. I'm going to come back in 30 days and get it back. Well, the $100, they give you $100 cash, cold in your hand.
Cool.
They hold your product.
Yes.
30 days later, you need to come back and get this.
Yes.
You have to give them 25%. So when you come back in 30 days,
$25.
$125, you get your item back. Yep. The $100 got you through the pinch. It's a bank of the people, really. They don't care about credit. They don't care about this kind of stuff. It's your word is your bond kind of business.
Heck
you come up there and let's say your phone, they go, hey, we'll give you, I'm not saying they'll do a phone, but you give them your phone and say, hey, product A, we'll give you $100 for it just because 100 is easy math. Well, 25% of $100 is $25. So when you come to get your item out of pawn, it's $125. Well, for this episode, for 2 weeks, they're going to carry it out 50% off. So instead of $112.50, you get your item back. Pretty rad if you need a C-note spot, dude. It's not really, too shabby.
That's really nice. Now that I know that at my business, I'm going to send some people your way because we've had a few people coming in being like, do you guys pawn where like we can give it to you for now and then it'll come back later. And I'm like, we don't do that, man. And I have talked to them and been like, if you're up by Austin, Arkansas, check out U.S. Pawn and Loan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure that will sending those guys that way for that deal for sure. I'll just I'll be like, hey man, check us out on Beer and Wings. And
make sure, okay guys, again, make sure you mention, hey, this is a Beer and Wings pawn. Yeah. Let them know that you heard about this. It's a phenomenal offer. Because dude, if it's $50 you need and you take an item and you pawn it for $50, it's $6.25 you're paying back.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. So on top of that, 10% off firearms, and you saw they're ridiculously well priced.
They are great.
But 10% really nice. Off on a firearm.
Very nice condition, all of them.
They're either new or used, but the new ones, of course, are immaculate. But the used ones typically will come with like an additional magazine, blah, blah, blah. There's some extra perks that come. You get your money's worth.
Most people we live in Arkansas.
Yeah.
U.S. Pawn and Loan is in Austin, Arkansas. And most people in Arkansas like their guns. They're gonna have some extra stuff with there. So you get a used gun in Arkansas, you're getting some stuff.
Yeah, you're getting some cool stuff. There's a gun I saw up there. It was an AR variant. That was up there. Dude, the purple rails on this thing.
Okay.
Like, the additional where you can add like a mag light or a red dot sight or ACOG sight or whatever. This thing was loaded down with purple rail slides.
That's so
And I'm like,
sick.
Holy crap. Some guy just brought it up there and sold it.
Some dude that dies to that he's going to, all he's going to remember in his afterlife is a pimped out gun.
I went out with style, y'all. Oh, but speaking of which, I want to say that the wings tonight were brought to you by Chef Angela. Angela went through the effort of, hey, you keep buying these wings, you keep trying these wings. Let me make you some wings. So she made us some bomb diggity wings.
She said, I heard Angela earlier. She said, I think my wings are better than other wings.
Yeah,
that's what she said. I heard the words come out of her mouth. So here we go.
It smells very spicy.
We've got a few different wings to try here.
So the first one is...
Hot honey.
Hot honey, Flavortown, Guy Fieri.
Yeah, I was about to say that's Guy Fieri.
He kind of looks like Zach with bleached hair.
God, I've heard that.
Wrong?
I've heard that more than once, and I don't like that.
Okay, so is that what these are? Okay.
Okay.
Homemade ranch.
Give him the fork from that other one there, so that we don't. Do we share fork? Okay. Are you cool? Are you?
Those are the ones I'm smelling. That's hot.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
You can smell the sweetness in it. You can smell. I'm gonna do this.
I thought that was you. Maybe it's the wings.
Well, hey, I'm a little sweet sometimes, but
no, you're going ranch free.
Ranch free first bite, first one, and then I'll try it with ranch after. Homemade ranch.
I had them. They're good.
Okay, cool. That is great.
So I should go for a whole wing, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, that is
ranch
fantastic.
or no ranch?
No ranch.
No ranch. All right, guys, here we go.
I don't even know if I'll eat one. If I ate one with ranch, it'd be to cool it down because it's got a little spice, but it's not overbearing.
I sense no spice. That is delicious.
It's just on the back end. As you swallow it, you'll hit that. You'll hit that spice. That's so good, dude.
Those are delicious. That was Angela's. Ooh, I feel a little bit of heat. That's good. It's not. It's subtle.
It's just that warmth in the back of your throat.
Guy Fieri's Flavortown Hot Honey Barbecue Sauce. It even has a picture of him. It tastes like him. It's amazing.
How do you know that, Matt? What are you doing?
You were telling me about it the other day.
It's he's my cousin apparently.
That flavor is super good. Those are gonna get destroyed, my guy.
Those are really good.
Oh, and then Autumn, who is here, which we will feature Autumn a little bit later in the podcast.
Do you guys have some for you guys too down there? Like, is there plenty? Okay, cool.
These look big, chunky, and hot, kind of like me.
Melinda's creamy style ghost pepper wing sauce.
Cheese and rice.
Oh no! Take the drink. Oh Lord, here's where the ranch is gonna come in.
I'm gonna try. Hey, I got my own. I'm gonna
dip a finger into this ranch and just try this homemade ranch.
The ranch, Angela's ranch is fire, dude.
It's okay.
That's ranch. That tastes like ranch.
Ooh, good ranch.
That's good.
Thank you, babe. All right, I'm gonna go for a big honk. I'm gonna get some extra sauce because I want to die.
Brother,
come on, get one. Let's do it.
They're probably not as hot as the eruptions.
I'll go for a small guy here.
You found a turd of a wing.
This is what I'm doing, man.
Oh my gosh.
I died last time, bro.
You did. All right, here we go. Ready?
But I'm doing no ranch, so.
I'm doing no ranch.
Okay.
They're not bad.
It's real good.
Flavor's good.
Yeah.
Heat hits you
Spice,
quick.
yeah, sneaking up on me. It's not eruption crazy. It's not gonna kill me.
It's perfect hot.
Yeah. Now if I ate
that is a great blend.
If I eat 2 or 3 in a row, yeah, it's probably gonna hurt me. But if I give it some time in between, or ranch even.
Oh my gosh, those are so good.
That's a really good flavor. Like, that's just very flavorful.
That is a delicious wing. That's the right amount of heat and sweet. The sweet's more subtle than the heat on
that's not killing me.
What is the flavor?
It's ghost pepper wing sauce.
Melinda's creamy style ghost pepper wing sauce and condiment.
Autumn said there's no added sugars.
No added sugar. Hey, that's a healthy one. Not sponsored, but shout out.
Speaking of added sugars, a little bit later in the podcast, we are going to sample live.
Have an ASMR makeout session with our wives' added sugars.
No, it is.
French fries coming.
All right, French fries up too. Man, I feel spoiled. Nums or Tum Tums Nums.
Yeah,
I can't talk.
Yeah.
My tongue's on fire. Those are actually hotter than I gave off. That's a little wangy.
That's good, man.
But Tum Tums Num Nums has brownies for us
with the ranch. This
even
other one,
better?
The Guy Fieri sauce with the ranch. Oh my god, dude!
Okay, with the
that
ranch.
homemade ranch with that is fire, bro. Holy crap! And he said, "Let me just get something in here to get rid of the ghost pepper, the hot." I'm double dipping. I don't know if you're against that or whatever. I've tried not to get the bite part, but that ranch is solid, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Dude, these wings are better than
anywhere else.
I'm not trying to like hate on them. Those wings were good.
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna go to a restaurant and get wings, those are good. But if you got a wife,
and I have the bestest wife.
Apparently, wives are really good at cooking.
Angela, those Guy Fieri's are so good with the ranch.
Your ranch is bomb, Angela.
So again,
that's good, dude.
Tum Tum.
You getting a little heat there, man. I see it in your face. It's because you ate the big one.
That's the sunburn coming from Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus getting you through the sniping you through the window.
She's made some brownies.
Yeah.
That are. I've had one.
Who's Autumn, man, for the podcast? Who's Autumn?
She's my kiddo. Angela's kiddo. She is an amazing young woman. She's started up her own baking business. And here in Searcy, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And she has wants to try. Dude, these are so good. I'm sorry for the moment of silence for the chickens that died for these. They're delicious. This is another heat.
It's a little hot, though.
Yeah, it's got a little heat. A little more ranch on that one. The wings are huge, too.
We also do have some dry rub wings that we're going to munch on here a little bit. So these are sauces. Woo, baby, that's kind of hot, huh?
A little heat on that one.
Yeah, I ate the bigger one this time, and I'm facing the wrath now. Mm-hmm. The hiccups, I feel them coming. People like that from the last episode.
I know, I heard about it. Had a couple people like, dude, Zach died twice.
Yeah. My face red?
A little bit, right here. You're a little pink. It's that Irish blood coming out of you.
Yeah, Irish blood. You and your freaking rope.
Yeah,
That's
those
a Boondock
were
Saints reference.
Yeah, Boondock Saints, such a great movie.
You know, I have the pop figures of the McManus brothers.
What the? Where are they?
At my house.
They need to be on the wall.
I'll bring them here.
If you want to let them hang out here.
Yeah. Woo!
That was some spicy shit right there. Those are not cold.
That's good, though.
The longer they sit in your mouth, the more you talk. I wonder if this is the wife's way of saying stop the podcast. The more you talk, the more they hit you. Those are good.
Still not as bad as Eruption. The flavor is so much better.
The flavor is better. Melinda, though. So, true story about Melinda. She was a very scornful wife. She hated her husband, and she fed him straight fire.
I believe it.
That's what happened, Melinda. Ghost pepper wing sauce. It's all on your lips. You're going to feel that one, buddy. Sorry for the
this is this one. This was the Guy Fieri. I had to cool it down, dude.
Guy Fieri.
Dude, that's so good. That is such a good wing, dude. These are boneless wings, by the way.
Boneless wings.
Homemade boneless wings.
Homemade.
And when I say homemade, I don't mean freezer, because we talked about this. I hate freezer chicken. Mm-hmm. This is not freezer chicken. Mm-mm. She cut up chicken, did the flour and, all the stuff, and did it herself. All hand-breaded, homemade, everything. It's great. The Guy Fieri's fantastic, dude.
Dude, that is probably one of... I'm not... You know me. I'm not a fan of, ultra-sweet sauces. I like more of the bite.
It's got enough bite to it.
Yeah.
With the sweet.
That hot honey barbecue sauce is delicious. My tongue is on fire from Melinda over here. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm tired of Melinda. Whew. Here's what I'm going to do with Melinda. I don't know about you, but...
Melinda's a spicy little heifer.
It's good. It's good.
She's the red heifer that's being sacrificed from last episode.
Hey, shout out to the last episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Apocalypse based.
That was a pock of my lips.
We walked right into that wing section there.
That was perfect.
Dude, that's so good. I want more of those wings.
That's your... You can have
sure,
the last
dude?
Dude.
Okay.
My guy.
Dude, these are so good. I didn't eat anything all day today, by the way, so...
I had a bagel. That's what I had this morning.
That's so good. And you know what she did? That I asked her if she was going to do it or not, and she said yes.
Sorry.
You can taste it. There's parsley.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, if you're making wings, making sauce, anything, parsley has this really good side effect where I don't know if it's because it contrasts so many flavors or what, it brings out the flavor in so many things when you're cooking. I use parsley in everything I cook. So that if I season a burger really nice, throw some parsley on it at the end.
Oh yeah.
It'll bring that everything else out.
I like it on potatoes.
Parsley's great. I love chives on potatoes personally. And scrambled eggs.
Parsley and chives.
Yeah. If I'm doing any cooking, it's parsley. Parsley's gonna be it. If I'm cooking, brother. If I'm cooking that that Breaking Bad sauce, brother.
Whew. I need a minute on those. Were delicious.
They're so good. I want to eat more of them, but I know I'm going to suffer for it.
We have to stutter through the podcast here now.
Yeah. Whew. Okay, so shout out to Angela.
Yeah, my wife made the best wings in all 5 episodes that we have eaten thus far, in my opinion. And
that might be the best wings I've ever had. And I've had a lot of wings.
Not because I'm burping a lot, but not because she's my wife, but because those wings were freaking delicious, dude.
They're so good.
I just want more.
She's just gonna have to cook the wings from now on. Like, it's not gonna.
Who needs a sponsor?
I'll buy the chicken or whatever I have to do. But dude,
those were good.
Yeah. Sorry to everyone else that has done wings for us thus far. You can't top it, dude.
You guys were good, but you were not great. This is great.
So good, dude.
But we have not brought in from Cabot, Arkansas.
Fire and Stone.
Fire and Stone. Deer Creek Fire and Stone. Their wings, I'm telling you, some of my favorite.
I haven't had their wings. I've had their personal pan pizzas, and their pizzas are really good.
This stuff here, Angela, she was on par.
She's competing.
Angela is a wing maker.
She's competing for sure.
She needs to start up
some of that bread.
Food
There's
truck.
some like breading in here. And that ranch is so good, dude. And I hate ranch. Remember, I only eat ranch because of spice.
But her ranch is good.
Her ranch is fire,
It's the salt, dude. I'm telling you. She hits it with salt.
I was giving them hell a minute ago. I was like, make sure you throw that pepper in there. But she's like, I'm not going to throw the pepper in there. But anyways, look at that. She salted that thing up, man, and did the thing. Yeah, we're looking at the wings like, all right, we're only left with the other ones now, and we're like,
I'm gonna eat those. Bring those bastards back over here. We're gonna.
Oh my god,
we'll eat them as we go through. They're so good. I'm not gonna eat a. Dude, I almost choked on that massive chunk I put. But
speaking of choking, that's not a segue at all.
No, speaking of choke.
What's the topic today, dude?
We are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, Zach.
Favorite.
I brought in a knowledge goblin came creeping up.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah, there you go.
Cryptids. Cryptozoology.
Cryptozoology. For those that don't know, what is that, man? You give your definition, I'll give the official.
So, my basic definition of cryptozoology is it's a specimen, we'll say, that current science...
Subculture. It's a good word. That's what the definition uses, so subculture is good.
Interjecting your definition.
Sorry, you go.
So, it's basically where there's a creature that there are no live or dead specimens that science or the scientific community can dive into enough to go, yep, this is what this is how we explain it, la-di-da-di-da. Instead, it's some mystical, I'm doing air quotes that you can't see on the microphone.
You got the air quotes closer to the mic.
I said air quotes.
Air quotes.
Air quotes.
Sounds like a race on Star Wars.
Yeah. We're in an air quote. Why did I go
full character? The TIE fighter.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
Oh man, now it's Star Wars theme.
Yeah, we're back to Star Wars. No, but you have creatures that potentially exist in society or outside of society.
Some of them are based on skeletons or fossils that we found.
True. But
some of them have slight evidence, but it's one of those things where it's like, is that a dinosaur?
It's a lot of
yeah.
You get a lot of
from Trump. Trump's a big cryptozoologist
Trump
fan.
was an archaeologist in his past life. He was like, it's some evidence, but it's not huge. It's not huge. It's not massively saying there's going to be, speaking of Trump, we need to get our little Trump icon and he's on the other side. Can you get to it?
Yeah, keep telling him about cryptozoology.
But yeah, cryptozoology is basically where there's like weird stuff that modern science can't explain. I think that's probably Trump has joined the party. He's like, these wings are good. They're not
We
great,
gotta take a picture of him with the wings.
Trump with a wing.
I'm gonna snap the pic while you
get it. Yeah. This will be on the Facebook. So if you don't follow us on Facebook, YouTube, if you're only on Spotify, you're missing out on other parts of the party.
Yeah, great ways to get that bonus content.
Indeed, all the Easter eggs and bonus. But that's basically what it is. It's stuff where science, there's not enough evidence.
You're hitting some words that I'm about to hit with this there's official.
Some evidence, but not enough evidence to conclusively say that, hey, this thing effing exists.
Yes.
That's cryptozoology.
Yes. I will say, if you watch any documentaries or movies or anything that talks about cryptids of any sort, that's what the creatures are called, cryptids. They usually are very, these people are very devout in believing these things.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. It's like
and these are people that study these things. I'm not saying cryptids are real or fake, but the people that do study these things put hours out of their personal life into it and study these things, make, money doing this, and, make or don't make money. Because cryptozoology is, again, a subculture, like I was saying. So it's very much not going to hit mainstream stuff, so a lot of these guys probably aren't making any money off this. Is this the dry rub?
Fries!
Oh, okay.
I can
the
bring some of
fries.
those up too.
Yeah. I want to try the dry rub.
Okay.
Are these homemade? For everything's homemade here? Or
No, the French fries are not homemade, but they are homemade seasoned.
are these rallies?
No, these are Angela's.
What's that seasoning? God, that's really good.
Because she hit us on the fries. Hold on. Give it a second for you to second one.
already
Angela's
did.
laughing. Nah. Give it a second.
What'd she do? I don't think it's spicy.
I'm giving it a second. She's
There's
laughing.
there's the back.
Do you know my wife? She's Irish. She's going to hit you with something spicy.
I think it's great. I think it's fine.
Those are good.
Yeah.
I like that you said. I think they're funny.
I think they're fine. Yeah, we're just
fine.
gonna start talking in our native accents.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wikipedia defines cryptozoology is a pseudoscience and subculture that searches for and studies unknown, legendary, or extinct animals whose present existence is disputed or unsubstantiated, particularly those popular in folklore, such as some that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, Yeti, the Chupacabra, the
Ooh.
Jersey Devil, or
Jersey
the
Devil.
Mokele Mbembe.
That's African.
I can't remember how to pronounce that, but yeah. It's from the Congo. And it's basically Loch Ness from a different area. Yeah, you can bring the buzzballs too.
Buzzballs. I've got a
So we
sweet-
do have our Red's Wicked that we're drinking. We
this?
talked about it earlier. We are going to drink maybe some of the...
This is funner.
Is
What
this the
What is
lemon
this?
pepper?
Okay, so we have lemon pepper. They're a little dry, so you definitely need the ranch.
This,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guys, this is Angela, my beloved wife.
Yeah,
the
the voice
darker
you hear.
ones are Caribbean jerk.
Caribbean jerk.
Look at me and tell me that's all there is in there.
I promise.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought she was going to hit us with some
No.
sublingual.
The hottest is going to be the...
Those, you want to try those?
I did.
I'm gonna hit one of these lemon pepper guys.
Yeah, this
These are
is-
dry rubs, so she's recommended this with ranch.
I'm gonna try it
However,
without it.
They're
I'm
all
going to at least
sugar-free.
try a bite
They're
without
sugar-free.
all sugar free. We are healthy folks around here. We try to be.
Babe, those are good.
I've been working out. I've been working out again.
I've been working out a way to try to work out. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm trying.
The chicken is moist enough. I don't think that you have to have sauce with it.
But
Even
the ranch
if it's
is
a dry
different
rub.
flavor. Oh my god.
But I'm gonna throw it in the ranch here too.
Try the other one.
I like Caribbean jerk. This one's heavy loaded.
The lemon
Holy crap.
pepper's good.
Oh, it
I'm not a big
smells good.
fan of lemon pepper typically, so I will say that.
Yeah, we dive back into the wings.
You need
What's the name of the show?
You-
Ranch? Why?
He recommends
Uh-oh.
the ranch. I'm gonna go into this without the ranch for a bite at least on the Caribbean jerk. Although Caribbean
dry,
jerk
right?
is
Bro.
typically a dryer.
Yeah.
You're gonna make mistakes. Get that ranch. I'm telling you.
Get the ranch.
It's good without.
Matt just looked at me like I was a sinner. Again, the chicken is moist enough that I think it fights the fact that it's a dry rub.
I know she's beautiful. I know she's smart. But do you see why I married her? She
Dude,
makes
she's
amazing
fantastic.
wings. That's oh my god.
Okay, I'll try
so
with the
good.
ranch now though, because this ranch is freaking fire. Did you eat the ranch? I hate ranch, Angela. I've talked about it before. You know, I
There's
hate
no added
ranch.
sugars to it either.
It's so good.
It literally,
It's sour cream based.
Uh-huh.
I hate sour cream.
You don't hate Angela's ranch. See what I mean?
It's a super easy.
The ranch is the way.
recipe.
The ranch with that Caribbean jerk. Oh my god, babe, those were fire.
Dude, that's
Thank
so
you
good.
So much. Those
We always rate the wings. Let's go real quick.
rate the wings.
Hot honey.
Hot honey. I don't like typically sweet wings. I've talked to you about that.
Yeah.
I'm hitting it with the 9.5 flat.
9.5.
9.5 flat. Those were really, really good.
That's my
I
favorite.
hate sweet wings. You know that.
Yeah.
You guys, if you've listened to the podcast, you know I'm always like, man, it's sweet,
Yeah.
man. Those, the flavor, enough heat to counteract the sweet.
Same. So I agree
9.5.
100%. Now, I will say I don't hate sweet as much as you.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've given anything this high of a rating of any sort on this
I'm
podcast,
listening.
stories or anything. I'm gonna say that's a 10.
Oh, what the shit!
I'm telling you right now, and I'm
God.
I'm not saying this because I treat Matt and Angela like they're my parents, but I legitimately have never had a better wing than the hot honey wings.
Those were super good.
I have never had a better wing in my life, and I've eaten wings from a lot of places. Never had a better wing. What are you thinking about ghost pepper?
That again, I'm going to tell you because you know me. I like the heat.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of sweet in my meat. So it's like if I come across, it's another 9.5 for me.
No, 9.5. Okay,
Solid 9.5, brinking on 10.
Yeah.
It's not too much heat.
It's not too much. It's enough. You feel it in your lips, like underside of your lips. You're like
we did a minute ago. If we eat too fast, if you eat it too fast, too much of it at once, yeah, it hits you.
And don't talk because the air comes in and you're like, I hate my life. Yeah,
but the flavor is still so good. I'm gonna give that a 9 for me.
A 9?
A 9,
dude.
Which is insane because I've given most wings we've had like 4. Under 5. Yeah. But that's
those were delicious.
It's because the flavor is so good that I almost want to suffer through the heat for it.
I have been.
That the wings were fresh this time.
Yes, and it also helps that some of the wings.
Last flavor here
haven't been fresh.
We've got lemon pepper / half of them were lemon pepper, half of them were Caribbean jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Dry rub. These are dry rub, no sauce. These for me, and I've never given it 10.
10. On 10. The lemon pepper?
No.
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because not the lemon pepper, but the lemon pepper with the Caribbean jerk.
Okay.
Because I got hit with flavor.
Oh, okay.
Which is,
it's like
I'm all about balance on my wings.
Yeah,
there's
you
flavor
got hit with that combined effect.
And then there's some heat. But it's not stupid heat where I'm having a panic attack while I'm trying to eat the damn thing. But it was like, that's hot.
Yeah.
Even without the ranch. Better with the ranch, but without the ranch.
Yeah.
I'm like, whew, that's hot. But the flavor never got shut down by the heat. So you had
none of
perfect handshake. How's it going?
Anyway.
I'm hot. I'm tasty. And they just met each other right there in these. And now, don't get me wrong. Okay. These 9.5 solid.
Yeah. You gotta give 9.5 Great Value. That was Walmart.
Great Value. Yeah, she got the Great Value rubs on the dry rubs.
But I'm just saying, dude, I could eat those every day of my life. These here, the Caribbean jerk, lemon pepper, and far beyond me to say that because I usually like the spicier meat.
Okay.
Delicious. I would give that a solid.
I'm gonna say the lemon pepper for me, and this is for no offense toward anyone.
Yeah.
Is a 6.
Okay.
I love them. Don't get me wrong, and that's still higher than most of the other things have been rated. I just don't like. I'm not a lemon guy, and that's not to anyone's fault. But
what about the ones with the Caribbean jerk?
Caribbean jerk. I'm gonna give it probably a solid 8.
Solid 8. Holy shit, that's nice for you. You don't ever give that nice.
Dude, I am pretty critical when it comes to rating certain things, but that's good. And then these fries, dude.
The fries are on point. Angela made French fries.
Yeah, I don't know what she seasoned them with, but
they're good.
They're really solid.
It's flavor. It's not heat. It's flavor.
It was just a little kick at the end. With the ranch. Try them with the ranch. Because again, and maybe it's just me discovering my love for this specific kind of ranch, but
the Maz Ranch.
I hate ranch, dude.
Oh, man. I feel like this whole episode has been about beer and food.
Yeah.
So far. But that's the name of it, guys. If you don't like it, get over it.
Get over it.
Go listen to a podcast about other people who killed people and buried their bodies. This is about food.
Your true crime podcast.
You have two thick Scottish-Irish fellas eating some wings, drinking some beer.
We say that until we do a collaboration with one of them or something.
And then we're like, we love you guys so
much.
We're
like, we love true crime.
I love true crime.
I love murderers.
Oh my God! But
did you say cannibals?
Cannibal rhymes with edible. That's all I'm saying. But I will just say that this smorgasbord before us of the different flavors. I will say the only one that's gone is Guy Fieri.
Yeah, I munched that up, dude. I ate that up.
Guy Fieri Flavortown disappeared.
If there's any more Guy Fieri and no one eats it, I will take more.
I'm hitting these Caribbean jerk lemon pepper ones back. Oh, look at that. Look at all the seasoning. Dry rub on that. Ooh. Dude, my God.
Yeah, she got the seasoning on there, man. This is not white people food.
No.
These are not white people wings, I'll tell you that. Cryptozoology.
Sorry, I'm in a food coma.
They're so good. I will say overall, again, I know we've talked about it. overall, these wings are better than any wings we've
These
had.
wings, as a collective, I will say 10 out of 10.
And
I will do this every time.
I'll be perfectly honest. I love, we got some buzz balls coming up here. What do we got? We got
Do I get the crappy
watermelon
flavor?
smash,
Celeste.
and what's that one?
Strawberry Rita. Oh, that's
Buzz
my kind
balls.
of jam.
Dude, we're gonna be mad. We're gonna messed up at the end of this.
No,
we gotta eat the fries so it soaks it up.
Yeah, yeah, fries.
But
these fries are so good, Angela. Thank you.
everything is so good, dude.
Man, this is amazing.
Oh yeah. Anyways, we're saying overall, best wings, best food that I've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Oh yeah, I agree.
We love Rock House. We have,
love Rock House.
You have an established relationship with Rock House. We love Chili's.
Chili's is always
we
a go-to.
always. I've got a manager that absolutely loves chili. Oh, she's gonna take a small.
Celeste.
It's really good in small bites. Take a small bite.
Yeah, it's good.
If you
Celeste jumped for the
she
peanut
just went
gallery
for it,
to
straight
throw
for it.
down on a wing.
Tell me that flavor isn't good before that.
Is that
heat,
not good?
Like before the heat hits you, it tastes good,
I want to give it
and then
quote.
it hits you with the flavor. Do you need
quote.
a drink?
All she could
Are you
say
gonna need
was,
a drink for that?
"Mm-hmm."
Yeah,
I said,
she
"Are
said,
these good?" And she said,
Because she took that big bite. She
That was a
went
chomp.
heavy into the spice. I'll give it. She went more manly on that than me.
"How are you doing on your big beer?"
I've still got
what?
a quarter of it.
I have to slancher without you.
Yeah, Prost.
Prost, slancher, Ian, or
We gotta
right.
start like coming up with more words for cheers.
I know. Drink.
Drink.
Okay, so we're talking about
Cryptozoology.
cryptozoology. So I know everybody knows. We'll start with one that everybody knows. Bigfoot.
Is that the big feet? First of all, I want to say this. If you've seen a picture of Bigfoot, which you have, if you've seen the picture, go reevaluate that picture. Something I've noticed recently because of some YouTubers I watch that I didn't notice before. So everyone calls the OG picture of Bigfoot the one picture.
You're talking about the
Everyone
one back in the what was it, the 60s?
blurred out. Yeah, it's
where
black
it was
and
going
white.
through the
But
woods,
recently,
passing over a stream.
recently we've updated. Yeah, this picture.
Yeah.
When you zoom in, it's a little hard to tell or anything. So that because of the person that took that picture and saw
was it something Gimmel? I forgot. It was
Patricia or
two
something.
guys that took the video.
Patrick or something.
Yeah.
But they call that one Patty
Yes. Because it's female.
because it's female.
Yep.
Some people don't know that because
they
they
don't.
don't look close enough. They just look at Bigfoot. They just look at it as a whole.
Oh my god, there's a guy in a monkey suit.
You
No.
can see some hawkers on on Bigfoot, dude, on Patty.
Well, it's
That's a
her
lady.
posture.
Yeah.
The way she's postured.
and you can see a little bit of a lump
she
there,
has
a little
she
mammary
has a
gland.
chest, and then she also has in her abdominal.
Abdominal.
Thank you.
That's
Abominable snowman.
Oh!
Whoa, we went into another one. But the in her abdomen, you can also see there's a bit of a pooch. Mm-hmm. So
As
for
if
this,
perhaps it's
we're
carrying
diving.
a child.
We're diving straight in. Okay,
Straight
so
in. No. With cryptids, you have to, man. Like I was saying earlier, the people that believe hardcore. You got to jump straight into the cryptids.
these guys who videoed this, just want to let you know, going to their deathbeds. We did not. This is not hoax.
Yeah, this wasn't one of those things where on their deathbed they're like, it was fake. Or like years before to get some money, they were like, yeah, I'm finally coming out. It's fake. These guys died with the belief that they saw what they saw.
One of which is still alive, but still.
Yeah.
They never refuted. They never countered their claim that this was real. Mm-hmm. They saw this thing. And we may post a link on the Facebook so you guys can watch
We'd
it for
post
yourself.
some pictures of each one
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
one post on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. But this thing, it's gait, which if you don't know, it means the way that it walks.
Yeah.
G-A-I-T. Gait, the way that it walks, and it
It's
cuts
often
across.
it's often memed and made fun of.
Yeah.
Sasquatch is the way they walk, but
yeah, but it is a
Bigfoot's,
fact
which-
that it cuts across, and it looks towards the people, not
Yeah.
towards the camera. If you look,
yeah, its eyes.
It
You
is
can tell
eyes.
its eyes are not. Its pupils aren't.
They're
It's
not.
not focused on.
they are
Camera.
above. Like, what is this over here? And it keeps walking. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
it doesn't.
it's
it
like I'm
doesn't-
unbothered by you, dude.
You're not a threat. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
And it treks along and whoop into the woods.
In the woods,
So
never to be seen again.
let's talk
Or
about
maybe to be
Let's
seen
talk
again.
about Bigfoot. Let's talk about Bigfoot for a minute. So
First of all, Bigfoot is not the name of the one creature.
no, it's not.
It was originally, but since it has been seen by it wasn't originally. It was I can't remember the name of the first one. Mm-hmm. I've talked about the ones from Arkansas.
Oh, we'll get into that.
The folk monster,
mm-hmm.
or the Boggy Creek monster.
There's a movie.
Well, yeah, there's a movie, and that's from Arkansas, but also slightly based on an Oklahoma story.
Me and my stepdaughter Audrey actually wanted to take a trip. Because they can't promise that you'll see
the town?
Falk, Arkansas.
Yeah.
You can't promise. It's like 2.5 hours from where we live.
They've got stores set up for
there's literally stores set up with I got to see the creature from Boggy Creek. And you can get all kinds of bumper stickers, whatever.
Take pictures with the statues.
Yeah. It's but the thing is that this legend exists here in Arkansas. But Bigfoot is everywhere, literally everywhere. So you have the Himalayas,
the Yeti
is what
which a lot of people consider separate. But if you ask me, when I look at any descriptions, any stories or anything, it's the same creature. It is just
different
due to evolution or whatever.
Different
it
zones.
is in a different exactly. It's different colors. It's different everything because it seems like whatever this creature is. Its fur the color may be to camouflage.
Fair.
So, brown for areas with brown and green
Temperate
trees.
zones.
And white for
ice, snow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the Himalayans.
So when you get into Bigfoot, we'll pause.
Saskatchewan, Sasquatch.
Don't make fun of me. I tried autocorrect.
There is one. I did look it up when I was looking at it earlier. There is one called Saskatchewan something. While you talk, I'll try to bring it up. Yeah.
So while I was trying to text Zach earlier about, hey, this is the podcast. This is what we're covering. Sorry, my nose and the heat from these wings. We dove into. I said, hey, let's make sure we talk about Sasquatch, and it autocorrected to Saskatchewan, and that's not what I'm trying to say. But the whatever name you call it, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, there's a bunch of different names out there for this creature. The reality is this thing could exist. There has been, if you dive into it, now you don't have to, but if you're listening to our show, we dive into weird stuff. So if you dive into it, there is a lot. Skunk ape. Yeah. Skunk ape is Florida.
Yeah.
So, largely. So, skunk ape is another one that ties, another name, where in the swampier regions, people have seen this thing that they can't explain. It's like a large primate, bigger than human. Mm-hmm. But it exists in the swamps of the Everglades in Louisiana and places like that, where this thing exists, and they talk about the smell that comes off of it.
Yeah, smell is a big thing that comes up.
And that's how they came up with the name, the skunk ape.
Smell is oddly a big thing that comes up with a lot of cryptids, to be fair. Well, I don't know. I've watched... So, there's a YouTuber that I watch, Wendigoon.
Wendigo. That's another name of the Bigfoot. Yeah.
Well, Wendigo is also a reference to the Native American cannibalism curse, basically, that happens to people that are trying to survive in... wherever, where the woods, the forest, or whatever. Usually northwestern.
You're talking about the Wendigo spirit?
No, Wendigos.
Okay. I always called it Wendigo.
Yeah, it's northwestern United States. A lot of Native American tribes had these old, and some people call them skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are, and Wendigos are they're not exactly the same if you look deep into the lore, but a lot of people kind of call them one and the same.
Like interchangeable?
Yeah. But Wendigos are... But Wendigoon is the YouTube channel. Wendigos, are like Native American. It's the idea is that it's a disease that occurs to a person that has to cannibalize other humans to survive. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they lose their hair. They become this gray, weird creature that can mimic voices and sounds in the... In mountainous areas. Appalachia is obviously a big area for skinwalkers and Wendigos and stuff, but...
Where Joe is there right now.
That is where he's at. No joke.
Joe, if you hear them calling your name, just go for them.
I said in the text message, I was like, go look for the Wendigos, dude.
They call your name. If they call your name, Joe, go give them a hug. I dare you. I'll give you $1.
I'll give you $1. That'll help them. Yeah. But anyways, so some people get a lot of these different things mixed up, but Wendigoon is a YouTube channel that I watch, and he does like these iceberg videos, So, in case you're not familiar, on YouTube or anything nowadays, there is the Nirvana iceberg, the cryptid iceberg, this and that.
It starts here and then...
Yeah, the idea is like, okay, we know Bigfoot, we know Chupacabra, we know Loch Ness. These are things that are at the tip of the iceberg, but there are things that are much more obscure that actually have a lot more lore around them than these things, the deeper you go.
Yeah. So speaking of Bigfoot, real quick, you hit on a topic I wanted to bring up, is the fact that before that video, the Gimli video, the one that everybody knows, before
Patty.
Yeah, Patty. When you go back into Native American, right? We're talking like your Native American tribes. These people. There are stories in their people, cultural stories, where they talk about these creatures.
Yeah.
These wild men, as they call them. These creatures that exist, that fit the description perfectly of what we know of Bigfoot or Sasquatch or the Yeti or the Wendigo or whatever. They describe these things, and they gave them as warnings to their children not to go out running in the woods because these things existed out there.
And some people view these things as just old wives' tales to tell, your kids to scare them and make sure they stay in bed late at night, or make sure they don't go outside the village. Or Hamlet.
The Hamlet, yes, we'll get into that later. But the Hamlet, such a good word. But the point is these things existed in Native American culture. Just talking straight North America, right? So these things existed in the culture. Now, at the same time that these stories were existing and thriving in Native American tradition, they were also existing in the East. In the South.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere. There's these...
Yetis are in typically...
Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal and stuff like that, which is Asia. Then we have all over America, Canada. I was going to call it Canada. Canada has many stories of Bigfoot-esque monsters.
Yes, they do.
As far as I believe Africa even has. Which Africa is a little more obscure because it's one of those things like, was it just an ape? Or was it, something else? Which also brings me to the fact that the likelihood of Bigfoot existing is exponential compared to a lot of the other cryptids. Cryptids?
Cryptids.
I told you I was going to be out of it, dude.
They do a cryptid walk.
Yeah, the cryptid walk. Kendrick Lamar did a whole thing. Anyways.
Yeah.
But, sorry. But it's exponentially more believable because of evolution.
Yes.
A lot of people believe Sasquatch, Bigfoot is the missing link.
No, I'm saying I don't believe that at all.
I'm not sure about that myself, but I think it's interesting that it ties into that because it does give it a place in regular science. Because we have pseudoscience, which is where cryptids technically lie right now, whether you believe in them or not.
Well, no, that's fair. I will say they exist there, but Charles Darwin even said on his deathbed that he was wrong. So you got to look at evolution. I do believe in evolution.
Yeah.
I don't believe in evolution in Darwinism.
Yeah,
completely
they're
different things.
Yeah, they're different things. Yeah, 100%. The theory of evolution is different than Darwinism. Darwinism is considered almost a
pseudoscience.
I wouldn't say pseudoscience as much as a belief system. Like Marxism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would say it lies in the same timeline as that. Not timeline, but you know what I mean. The same line of thought as that.
Correct.
While evolution is, I would say, something that we know for sure exists.
Evolution,
at this point.
in some capacity, does exist.
Because we know that humans are still born with, some humans, especially, I want to say Canada, they have an uptick of people born with the nubs from, a tail.
Really?
Yes. And in America,
that explains a lot.
In America, we have a lot of
Canada.
people with webbed toes and whatnot. And so different areas obviously have these different traits. Africa, not to toot anyone's horn or scare anyone. Africans tend to be born with a split calf muscle.
They do.
Extra
they
muscle.
have. I was going to tell you.
Extra muscle.
True
on their
Africans
legs.
evolutionarily.
Yeah. No,
speaking,
for sure, 100%.
I've made it through evolutionarily with one try. Bingo, Matt. But yeah, so they actually do have an extra leg muscle.
Yeah, but all across the world we have these changes.
Right, correct.
Some of them are stereotyped, and it's unfortunate because, people drag those into negative.
Canadians with their tails.
Yeah, saying please all the time and thank you and whatnot, sorry, and whatnot, sorry. But, no, but all across the world we have these things, and unfortunately some of them, and that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast, is to talk about some of these things that might be a little bit more on the hinge of cancelable or of ideas of thought that people might not like.
Yeah.
But there are stereotypes that exist that we know for sure do have scientific backing.
So yeah,
Africans tend to have
a lot of people did not know that
leg muscles.
True Africans and the blood lineage of Africans, they actually have extra muscle.
Yeah, we have X-rays of it. We have bones of it. Like, we know.
And it's one of those things that it's like, you hear people say, oh, blah blah blah, whatever, and it's like, well, dude, genetically, they are more.
We know this.
They are better, like physically, they have the potential to be better at this than you, just because of the way they're built.
Yes,
and
there's nothing wrong with that. That's
absolutely
the thing.
Nothing
that's
wrong.
The thing is, I think that's where like the racism and the cancelable aspect comes into it.
Correct.
Is people are worried about oh, if you say that, that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, dude.
It's a great
thing.
Do you know
how freaking happy I would be to have
an extra?
I mean, my legs are where I'm more muscular. My back and my legs, always, my whole life. Even when I was a kid, my dad used to be a bodybuilder, and he even told me when I was a kid, he was like, dude, you, with your leg muscles and your back muscles, you're insane. What is that? Is that a Tum Tums Num Num?
It is indeed. Just got delivered to us.
But yeah. So we don't have to take these things in a derogatory way.
No,
because that's amazing that they have that.
So
and there are amazing features of some races of people in some areas. I'm not going to say anyone specifically because there are a few, but a lot of them are seen negatively. But there are some people that are bred smaller. And that's not a bad thing.
Like
that's
Zach.
because of
Zach
I am 5'6". Thank you. I am average height, but for an American male.
but I just want to say so, and I know this is not the topic of this podcast, but I want to say there is fact. Okay, fact is irrefutable. Mm-hmm. It is truth. It is proven true. No matter how you dissect the damn thing, it is proven as true.
For sure.
Everything outside of the orb or the sphere that is created by fact is feeling. You can have a feeling about something, but it doesn't matter. This is the fact.
Yes.
So I don't care that you don't like this or you do. I mean, I don't mean to sound heartless and say I don't care, but
I care. It's validated.
But your feelings are heard.
Yeah.
But that's how you are feeling about a fact. Something that's irrefutable, we can't argue about it. This is the reality. This is real. Now, however you choose to perceive that and feel about it is 100% on you.
Exactly.
Or your environs that have impacted the way that you think. So,
and if that has turned out to be a negative thing, I tend to be apologetic to people. Okay, I'm sorry that is the way that I may have come off, and it was. But a lot of that negative experience is probably based on your experiences or thoughts or beliefs or what you've been led to believe about
feeling.
Conveyance of feeling.
It's 100% the conveyance of feeling, because the fact doesn't change just because you feel a certain way.
Exactly.
About it. So,
if you're a meth head in Arkansas, you're still a meth head. I'm sorry that if it offends you if I call you one, but
that's a fact.
You're still doing meth.
Meth is a horrible decision. Mm-hmm. We stand out.
That's an exaggeratory, metaphor for it. But still, there are things that's like. But either way, getting into evolution, I don't think Bigfoot is an evolutionary.
I don't either. I think he's not a sub. A different species. I do, and I'll put this out here for the podcast.
I could see him as a subspecies of ape or subspecies of human.
I think it's an evolution. It's a change. So just like we've all changed from this, that, or the other, I believe this is also a change. This is something that went through different changes than what we went through as humanoids.
Yeah, and that's the belief with modern day, people that believe in mermaids and stuff, is that people that didn't evolve to live on land evolved to live in the water.
That's one school of thought.
Yeah.
The other school of thought you have is that it's the Atlanteans.
We're getting into Atlanteans.
No, we weren't yet. I was just saying. So there's the whole potential belief that there's the Atlanteans, that these people were above us as humans.
Superior race.
In the sense that they evolved.
Superior species, I should
or
say.
discovered ways to exist below sea level.
In a more, to be fair, protected
100%. I mean, there's
if
some
we could live
spooky stuff in the
underwater
ocean.
right now, we're protected from anything. Like if, say, a nuclear war breaks out, after a certain amount of depth, water's safe.
Yeah.
So
Andy is squawking.
Andy said, that's our guest star, Andy, the
angry parrot.
Yeah, the bird.
Andy is the bestest boy. But, so on Bigfoot, I just want to say that I would like to, and Audrey, if you're listening, I would like to still do that day where we just go and we go. I didn't mean to cause an earthquake on the table. I got excited. But we do that day where we go to Fouke.
It's F-O-U-K-E. I don't know how to pronounce
it.
Fouke. We'll call it Fouke.
Everything's a little fooky around here.
Everything's a little fooky around here.
But Fouke, whatever you are, Arkansas, I've never been there. But I would like to go there. I'd like to experience
I'm sure they'll
this.
correct us if we go.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll let us.
Technically it's Fouke, but watch him go. High five, that guy got it right.
You go anywhere South Arkansas, they pronounce Circe. And it drives me nuts, dude. But it's weird because the county is apparently pronounced Circe, but the town is Circe because most people that live in the town pronounce it Circe. And I would go by the townsfolk before I went by anything.
Right. But I will say, like, when you dive into Bigfoot, and Audrey, again, if you're listening, yes, we can still go do that. We will do a live stream. I'll do a live stream if there's internet access 100%. There. If not, we'll just video it. But I want to go to cool Fouke, Fudgy,
Fouke,
however it is, Arkansas, to find the Boggy Creek Monster. I'm cool with just exploring the lore, if nothing else.
Yeah, just going around town and reading the things they have up around town.
So the reality is that, you know, we talked about Native American culture. Like, we're just talking this hemisphere, right?
Yeah.
There has been for hundreds, if not thousands of years, the belief in these creatures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever you call
them.
Yeah. There have been.
Yeah, you find these things even just in America. You find these things in Native American lore and a lot of other things. I know, man. I need to drink faster.
He's a slow sippy tonight.
He hates that I drink so much. I'm hungry too. Is the problem?
We have Powerballs. We'll hit the Powerballs next.
You can eat this last one here.
You
man?
can have it, man.
It's Caribbean jerk. You don't want it?
It's Caribbean.
You
but
jerk.
You can jerk.
You say Caribbean. I say Caribbean. You say tomato, I say tomato, but one for sure is wrong.
Nobody ever calls it a tomato.
I've never
Let me get this fresh tomato. Nobody says that. Nobody
I would like your tomato.
Potato. I'm going to put some fresh potatoes with my tomatoes. Nobody says that.
As far as jumping between cryptids and stuff.
Well,
like, we can keep talking about Bigfoot, but just real quick to hit it because we talked about doing this. Your rating on... Let's give a rating on believability.
Okay.
Like how much do you personally... Not the evidence necessarily, how believable is the evidence, but us personally, Matt. Mattrixxz.
Mattrixxz Gaming. Whoa!
What do you think, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe that Bigfoot could exist or does exist?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Woo! Solid 10.
I believe he exists.
Okay. Why do you believe for sure?
So, while I have never seen a Bigfoot, Sasquatch,
you are also a man of faith.
Uh-huh.
Let's preface it with that.
So I'll preface it with that and the fact that the moment I believe that something couldn't exist, I'm living in an unlimited God. So, just because the human spectrum hasn't seen it, to me, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Okay.
I mean, I've been on a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
A lot of adventures. Bless you.
Bless you.
I just feel like we discover so many different subspecies of beetles and bugs and stuff that we've never seen before.
All kinds. We're still discovering stuff today. Just a few years ago, discovered the giant squid. A couple years after that,
but
discovered that
was
weird
malarkey.
Squid thing.
They said it was malarkey. Oh, it's a bunch of crap.
No,
this thing exists.
There's
scars on whales from this thing.
I only follow to make it, to put it in layman's terms.
I got ahead of the Powerball.
I only follow what's the term here? I'm looking for. I only follow .orgs. You know, like I only follow things that are for sure sourced. Mm-hmm. I'll read all kinds of articles. Don't get me wrong. Plenty of stuff comes up on Google and whatnot. But if it's something like that where it's like, oh, this could change the idea of modern existence of animals or humans or just anyone on Earth, then I will look into it. And when I look into it, I'm only looking at official things. I'm not looking at these articles of people giving their opinions on it. Yeah, I want to see factual evidence.
And feeling, right?
Yeah, fact and feeling. I want to see evidence of these things. And so when I look at, you know, scientific things, peer-reviewed things, footage, all this stuff, we for sure know the giant squid exists now.
But he didn't until about, 5-10 years ago?
Yeah.
They were all, there's no way a squid could get that size.
And then we have pictures of it. And now we have pictures of whatever that weird thing is. I can't remember what it is. And it might also just be a version of the giant squid. But it looks like almost a weird, long jellyfish. Yeah. I'm sure you've seen the pictures of it. Whatever it is. That thing's crazy. Mm-hmm. Which, Doom Dark Ages, by the way. Been streaming Doom Dark Ages. You wander into the the Eldritch realms. Mm-hmm. So you're not just fighting demons from, like, hell and stuff in this game. You're fighting Eldritch demons. You free, in this game, spoiler alert, you free, in the Doom Dark Ages, Cthulhu.
Ooh.
And you go to his, like, realm, and some creatures are floating around the distance, and they're those creatures. Like, they basically modeled those creatures one-to-one, except they're flying around instead of underwater. Anyways, but so when I look at these things, like, I know we have solid photographic, proven, peer-reviewed evidence of these things.
Real stuff, where these things exist. And they have seen scars on great whites. They've seen squars. They've seen scars on sperm whales. They've seen scars on right whales. They've seen scars on blue whales.
Yeah.
They've seen scars.
We have enough evidence with pictures of the creatures.
Of the creature of their damage.
Yes. We know.
Glad you brought that. So, but 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you were to mention, there's giant squids.
It was a cryptid.
It was a cryptid. It didn't exist.
Giant squids for a long time. Until the last... And that gave a huge resurgence to the cryptid and cryptozoology community.
Correct.
I remember being in high school with one of my friends. We both wanted to go to college for zoology and then cryptozoology.
Right.
And we were super excited because it happened when I was in high school, the giant squid discovery. It happened while we were in high school.
10, 12, 15 years ago.
And so cryptozoology got this huge resurgence because everyone was like, we know that some of these things can and do exist.
You can't explain a squid that's big enough to grab a whale around its face and cause damage.
Yeah. But then we got the evidence, and we know now. Suddenly we know where they're at now, so now we can take multiple pictures. Yeah. And we have a plethora of evidence for these things.
Good word, plethora.
It's
a fun word. You sound smart when you say it.
10 out of 10 for Bigfoot for you.
10 out of 10 for Bigfoot. Also, because there's a lot of bogus stuff out there where people have. Wait. So we're gonna hit these buzzballs brought by Celeste.
I've got watermelon smash.
I've got strawberry Rita. Here we go. In 1, 2, 3.
There it is.
Ooh, that one was.
It's all over you, man.
That one was splashy.
They were in our freezer.
They were in the freezer. They're gonna be good. So we've got there's a lot of bogus evidence, and that you have to weed through, right? Mm-hmm. It's just legit not real. But then there's other stuff like footprints captured. There's hair samples captured that don't belong to a deer, don't belong to a moose, don't belong to a bear, don't belong to a rabbit or a fox.
We can test these things. We can test DNA.
They test it, and they go, it doesn't belong to these creatures.
Yeah.
So while I personally, with my own 2 set of God-given eyeballs, have not seen
a Bigfoot,
I also haven't seen a Tibetan monk.
Yeah, yeah.
But exactly. I believe they exist because there's evidence.
I've never seen the Nintendo headquarters.
Yeah, but you believe it exists, right?
I know it exists.
Because there's pictures, there's evidence, there's this. I've never seen a baby pigeon.
For sure. I've never seen a baby pigeon.
No, I've seen the grown ones. They eat your breadcrumbs, but I've never seen a baby. But they have to exist, right?
For sure.
So that's why, for me, Bigfoot is a 10 out of 10 solid on the cryptid scale. Where's he at for you?
I would say 8 out of 10. Which is high for me.
That's big for you.
Yeah, that's high. That's high for me. Bigfootish. That's Bigfoot for me. But it's only because, again, when it comes to me with religion or anything, I need to experience something.
Yep, fair.
That makes me that brings me closer to that belief. Mm-hmm. For a long time I didn't believe in a lot of different religions or deities or this or that because I just didn't see the logical proof. The logical, which it's
You're
faith.
a Thomas. You've got to feel the wound to know it's real.
Exactly.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, a lot of things like this are faith bound. And that's where the word faith comes in, where it's like you have to have faith. You have to have trust in reality, in science or whatever, that something can exist without you seeing it.
Yeah, something that's outside the normal spectrum that we believe in.
That we can perceive or whatever. And so for me, Bigfoot is an 8, which is very high for me on the cryptid scale. And that's because we have so many. We have so many... and I'm sure some of them are fake. I'm positive some of them. We know for sure some of them are fake. Yeah, because there's plenty of... You can buy a Sasquatch costume from Spirit Halloween when it rolls around, I
gotta pause you. Do you know, I actually was reading before this podcast.
Yeah.
The first 2025 sighting of Bigfoot happened.
I did not know that.
People who debunk stuff are going, time out.
This is something.
Let me see if I can find it for you real quick.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Okay, but yeah, for me, 8 out of 10 on the Bigfoot. Just because there's so much evidence of it, but it's just, I need to experience either the evidence or stories or something. I need to experience something to really push me over the edge to 9 or 10. But yeah,
the story.
I'm very close.
So the story is in May of 2025.
That's this month. Or
last month.
Because now it's
a father
June
and son reported a Bigfoot sighting while fishing in a swampy forest near I-75 in La Plaisance in Monroe County, Michigan. The Bigfoot field researchers deemed the report credible.
Ooh.
The father and son claimed to see a large, hairy creature walking on 2 legs, hunched over and approximately 6 foot tall, even when hunched. The creature was reportedly intercepted by their dogs and then moved quickly past the trees and up a slope. That is a real deal. So I'll see if I can't find the video for you.
There's a video.
There is a video. There's video footage of this. None of the fake crap.
Let me scroll through the fake and see. That's what you run into. That's where the suspension of belief is for me, because it's like I have to sort through so much fake crap to get to anything that seems slightly credible. Yeah, and
but Michigan has been a hotbed of
Michigan.
Of
I've heard plenty of Bigfoot activity in Michigan. I believe even the Bigfoot show that was on Discovery or whatever was. They did some stuff in Bigfoot or in Michigan.
Let me see if this is the one.
The team and I have traveled.
Oh, sorry for the audio.
It's all right.
I'm trying to find. No, that's a team and I. Blah blah blah. There's an actual video I was going to show you because it turns and looks at him and then runs off into the woods.
Okay. While you search for that, where are we moving past Bigfoot? Do you
let's run into
Loch Ness area
Loch
or
Ness.
Chupacabra
Let's do Loch Ness. Yep.
Oh, Nessie.
Oh, Nessie. So, I'll find that, and if I find the link, I'll put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
There is video footage of what this father and son team captured while they were in the woods in Michigan, and I saw it, and I was like, "Holy crap! I got to show this to Zach," and I'm sorry for not sharing it to you.
Yeah.
But Loch Ness. So,
oh, Nessie.
Since around 700-ish, 600-ish AD, there has been allegations, stories of this rumors. Weird creature that lives in Loch Ness in Scotland.
In Scotland. In Lake, isn't the lake? There's a reason it's named Loch Ness.
Yeah, it's Ness Lake.
Ness Lake or something like that. Yeah.
So that land has actually been acquired by the Loch Ness Monster Society Preservation. They want to determine what the heck is in Loch Ness. Now, I've seen some really cool stuff. I love cryptids. And I've seen some really cool videos where they put these motion capture cameras underwater. They're just going to try to see a thing or two, see what they can do. And they've picked up like a fin cutting across. It was larger than life to make sense to what could live in the body of water, right? All kinds of cool stuff. The original guy, what was it, 1950s, I think it was, where the video footage, where it's Nessie. Nessie has breached the water. That's what they call her. And affectionately, they call her Nessie. The original guy, on his deathbed, admitted that was fake.
Yeah.
He said it's a hoax. I did this just for attention. But you got to remember
from the original picture and stuff.
Well, it's Nessie preaching about the water. I'm doing hand gestures,
which could have been a silhouette of a duck.
Well, it was he made a tube thing, like a little boat thing. He put in the water and he took a picture and it's Nessie. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, when you look at the image, you're like, okay, that could be 56 different things.
Yeah. So while that never garnered my faith that there could be something that exists in the waters of Loch Ness, it was brought up that it's a possibility. There's things. That was never my one go-to. Well, there's a picture. Oh, my geez. It was more of the fact that hundreds of years.
Is it winter?
Thousands of years.
The video that you're talking about for Bigfoot is it winter?
It's
snowy.
No, it's not. It's springy.
It's not this one.
No, it's not that one.
I'm trying to help you.
It's a springy, summerish type vibe. Well, it was May 2025 in Michigan. Yeah. But that was the first Bigfoot sighting of 2025 in North America. But Nessie, that one little video that everybody based it on, it's a fake, it's real, it's a fake. Everybody fought back and forth. That's not what I based it on. It's the fact that hundreds, if not thousands of years before that, or over 1,000 years before that, people cited this thing.
There's Scottish folklore.
Yes. But like the Native American folklore, now we tie into Scottish folklore, there is a creature that lives in Loch Ness.
Something that is not what we know.
Do you know that within the last year, there has been video footage captured that lasted for minutes of a large aquatic creature under the water moving? They picked it up. They videoed. Everybody's in Loch Ness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually in Scotland at Loch Ness, they recorded it for minutes, moving under the water, bigger than any kind of fish or whatever that could live there. Mm-hmm. It never breached. It never came up. Oh, there it is. It's a whatever.
The thing that I'm skeptical about with video footage of things like that is now we have a lot of AI generated footage of similar things, and we have for the last 5 or so years before AI was even a big thing. We have had this resurgence of, and it's not Loch Ness specifically, a lot of this stuff was like sea creatures in the ocean and stuff like that next to cruise ships and stuff. So I'm always skeptical of that stuff because for some reason it seems like for a while now AI has easily been able to fake any underwater movement that affects the top of a lake or an ocean or a body of water.
Well, this was cell phone captured.
Okay.
And it hit mainstream media. It wasn't fake. So, oops. Sorry, went for the wrong can.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth here. The crickets are hitting us.
Crickets hit us. Shut up! It's the fact that this was captured and released to mainstream media that they couldn't argue that this was a real thing that was captured by somebody who was taking a ferry across Loch Ness. They recorded this massive thing moving. So it goes back to, was it Neopleurodon? Yeah. Or Leopleurodon, that they believe it is.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur, basically.
It's a dinosaur.
That just hasn't died.
Hasn't died. Which goes into your, in the Congo Basin in Africa, there's people that record audio.
Well, that's the blah, blah, blah Mkembe that I said earlier. That's basically just a Loch Ness.
Yeah. Well, it's they're recording audio. What the hell makes this noise? Yeah. And it's that was horrible. But my impression
is pterodactyl,
spot on. That was bad, though. But they do these sounds from the Congo Basin that are not monkey, are not a primate, are not something. It's something doing these calls that they're we've never heard this call before. What is this? And they're capturing it on audio. And these are scientists, people who get paid to do this stuff.
Yeah,
and
people
they're
that get paid to ensure the credibility of these things.
Right. And now they're suddenly going "Reep," and pulling back towards a cryptid. What is this? What made this sound? Nothing we know of makes this sound. And I'm holding an audio recorder towards that.
Yeah. He's trying to record.
Listen to
he's reporting me right now.
What do you got to say about that? But
you didn't say anything about your beard for the podcast.
Oh, well, no. So those who follow on Facebook know that less than a week ago, I ditched the beard.
He ditched the beard.
It's coming back already. You can see it in its gloriousness in the light that Jesus provides while he snipes my left eyeball. But yeah, just
I know that came out of nowhere, but I was just like, I was gonna say something about it earlier, and then it just hit me again. I was like, oh, I got.
It's still roguish. It's still
roguish. Is that what we're calling it?
Irish roguish.
Okay.
Charm coming across here. But yeah,
I'm sad about it.
Well, you know,
I look at me over here looking like a homeless man, and you're looking clean cut.
GQ, baby.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, what? Why am I? Well, hold on, you left me behind here.
No, the beard will be back in a month or two, guys. But yeah, just wanted a fresh start. Just kind of trim it up, see what I could do. So it'll be back. Don't you worry. I'll be matching the stain soon enough.
Yeah. So anyway, Loch Ness is this thing that we've seen similar reports, heard similar audio, seen similar pictures all across the world again. It's like the Bigfoot thing where we know, like, Loch Ness Monster is something that we, are rumored or have proven at this point that might not be real in Lake Loch Ness.
But they can't refute it.
But they can't refute it. But also, we're seeing something similar all across the world.
Yeah.
So that's
I paused there. I paused there real quick.
Okay.
It was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You've heard of a coelacanth?
Yeah.
Okay. So
there's a Pokemon based on it. It's Relicanth.
Yeah. So coelacanth was this in-between missing link between fish and man or whatever.
Yeah.
This thing that never existed. It washed up on the shore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we know coelacanth is a thing now.
Like we know it now. But 10 years before that, if you would have mentioned that, you're an idiot. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. This is dumb. But the fact that the coelacanth, was live before it washed up, a live coelacanth washed up on the shores.
Yeah, we know for sure. Coelacanth is a rare, primitive, and elusive lobe-finned fish that was thought to be extinct. In 1938, there was a live specimen, was accidentally caught, but at the time we thought it was a different kind of fish or whatever. But yeah, they call it the living fossil fish. But yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
But one washed up in, 2000, 2002, something like that. And it's like, wait a second, these are supposed to be extinct. It's still alive.
Yeah.
So how do you explain that?
Well, we also know that, like, alligators and crocodiles, we know that they can live, obviously, given the proper circumstances, they can live a long time.
100+ years.
Sharks too.
Sharks
can live
too.
Huge amount of time. Huge amount of time.
Massive.
There he is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's when you look at Loch Ness and you look at the Loch Ness Monster, the fact that there have been multiple sightings, and not everybody always has a camera on the ready, but they see something.
No. That's another thing is I've seen on the internet where people are like, we should know these things exist because everyone has a camera on them nowadays. Yeah, but I don't walk around my phone ready to draw
holster.
like an old western, like take a picture of the Bigfoot, 4K evidence. No one's walking around with that.
No.
Maybe a few people that are going to see like a national park or this or that or the ocean
capture something,
have their
side.
phone out, and then happen to see something, but and that's why that footage is always, I will give credit due to those people. That's why that footage tends to be very obscure and weird looking because they're not trying to catch that thing.
Right.
They're capturing family vacation or this or that. Or a hunting trip, or this or that.
I saw some comment, and it kind of bothered me because I don't like making fun of people who are different. I think it's the best way, but somebody made a comment on the video of the May 2025 Bigfoot capture. They said, why did Michael J. Fox record this?
Because it's shaky.
It's super shaky. And I'm like, dude, you tell me if you see something like that.
Even if you don't see something, if you are in America and you're hunting in the woods with your son, or you're going on a hiking trip with your son or whatever, and even if it's not Bigfoot, if it's a gorilla walks through the woods, brother, you're shaking.
I'm not going to be perfectly still.
Yeah.
I can't be perfectly still when my snake moves, you know? It's like, look.
Like, no one questions when a bear video is shaky, and it's because it was a bear, bro. Like, no one wanted to die.
And this thing, they didn't capture anything out late. I wish I could find the video for I will find the video for
we'll
you.
Find it.
It was, it just turned to look at him real quick. But, dude, there's no way this was a costume. No way. I don't know, we're going back to Bigfoot.
Well, you can tell with certain things. You can look at it, look at neck and, the way certain things fold and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, dude, this was not a costume.
Yeah.
This was something I can't explain. Now, if it's fake, they did a great job.
Yeah.
I will say that. Yeah. If it's fake.
And let's throw out there that can exist.
It's a possibility.
We have a lot of things at our disposal now as humans on the internet. We have a lot of things where we could fake things fairly easily.
Yeah, it's AI.
AI is a big thing now. But even just really good animators and editors and stuff like that who just are bored can make a lot of these things.
This video was different. Like, it felt very organic.
There is still, there's the uncanny valley. There are things that we can see for sure that our eyes, no matter what, will discern as something that is not natural versus something that is.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes into play with cryptids, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, Loch Ness, we could keep diving into, well, this person said this person said that. I mean, we've talked hundreds, over 1,000 years, people have proclaimed this thing exists.
This is one of those ones that we have less photographic or less physical evidence, but a lot of stories.
A lot of stories. That's a good way to put it. A lot of people
literary
saying,
evidence.
I saw this. Like the Picts, when they were invading into Scotland and all this kind of stuff, and they were scared to go by the shore because there was something in Loch Ness.
And there's a lot of modern media that has things referenced, or has things that reference or are a metaphor or an analogy for things like Loch Ness as well, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, something a lot of people really enjoy. There's a big eelfish thing on there that they encounter. It's like a big dragon eelfish thing. I can't remember the name of it, but it's based loosely on the fact that there
was a whole movie that came out with that weird little creature that came out of the water and they took care of it.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was a good movie. I can't think of the name of it, but
it may have just been like Nessie or something close to it.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was good though. I watched it with my kids when they were little, and we were like, this is a family movie. And all they jumped back in the water and lived a good life. Where are you on Loch Ness?
As far as believability, I'd say that one's closer to a 4 or a 5.
For me, it's a 5 or a 6.
We have things that we know, like we have pictures and stuff, but a lot of the pictures are from people who, on their deathbed or later in life, for money, have been like, yeah, it was fake. It was a twig. It was a piece of wood or whatever, and and I hate to say that because that ruins the credibility of people that are
legitimate.
Genuinely have these encounters. But because of how many false things have come out, I'm just I don't refuse to believe, but I'm definitely on the negative side of believing in Loch Ness. That's not to say that I don't believe there could be something similar in the water. I hate water. I'm aquaphobic. I fear the water. I can't swim. I'm still drinking. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm already a little tipsy, bro. I'm trying to pace myself here, all right?
I'm pacing myself,
This man over here is like, keep drinking, bro. What are you doing? I'm over here like half slurring like, bro, I don't know about Loch Ness.
Well, I just ate another hot wing, so to be fair.
Yeah, but, that sobers you up every time a little bit.
It's like, oh, I found Jesus. But you didn't even drink that. You just spilled it upon yourself.
Upon myself. But yeah, I'd say 4 or 5 range.
See, I'm thinking 5 or 6. So 5 for me is like it could be. Mm-hmm. Okay, 6 is like I'm leaning towards it could be. More. Yeah. Personally. Obviously, that's a world away from us, right? For me to believe that a Leopleurdon, if they want to call it that, exists out in cold water. mind you. Not warm water, cold water.
This creature that we know existed at one point because it was a dinosaur. We have fossils.
Correct. That it supposedly still thrives in Loch Ness, which is a cold body of water.
That's north. That's very north.
And it has enough food to eat, sustainability.
Without constantly showing itself.
Without reproductive capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing still thrives in Loch Ness. I won't dip to 4, because 4 is like, meh.
Yeah.
For me, like, that sounds like horse shit. Right? I won't jump on that bandwagon. But I do believe it could, because I won't limit that it couldn't.
That's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, it could. I just don't see enough solid evidence.
Right. There's nobody going, dude, I found a Leopleurodon turd in Loch Ness. This is not a log. This is an actual Leopleurodon poop.
Eat it, bro. It's poop. I guarantee you.
I promise you it'll taste like fish. But could it exist? Yes. Do I believe it exists? I don't know. But I won't say no. I never say no. Mm-hmm. Because I won't limit what I believe to be a limitless God. I won't say that he couldn't do these things.
And again, we hit it earlier, but we'll throw out the fact that you are a very devout religious believer.
I'm not religious.
Well, you are a very devout, faithful believer in the Lord.
In the God of Abraham. Yes.
And I'm coming from a side of things that I'm a recent believer in the Lord, but I am always very skeptical, very logical. I am someone who doesn't believe in faith necessarily. I never put my trust or faith into anything, not a person or anything.
Fair.
Much to my wife's chagrin.
Chagrin. Another good word, like Hamlet.
I just don't believe things based on just someone saying something.
Mm-hmm.
I have to see the evidence. I have to know.
You're a Thomas.
Some things won't ever be believed for me until I die. Because there are some things that I can't be proven, like God or heaven or hell. I won't know for sure, physical evidence, won't know for sure until I die.
That's very fair.
And I was, just to go into it real quick, I was talking to my wife, and I've talked to other relationship people, other girlfriends or this or that, before about the fact that I'm someone who's been cheated on a lot. I can't believe someone won't cheat on me until I die. Basically, because how am I to ever know for sure that you won't do something until I die?
So, I counter that. While we're on that claim,
okay,
I counter that just a little bit, because I'm also someone who has been cheated on.
Keep going.
I believe that every human is different.
For sure.
I believe that I can't hold person X
accountable for person Y's.
Correct. So I believe, and I've matured.
Hey, we're good.
Okay. I don't believe that. The crickets are throwing me off. Shut up, crickets! I believe that it's. I don't know if y'all can hear the crickets. If you can't, this whole podcast makes no sense. Yeah,
they're like, what crickets, dude? These guys
what are you talking about?
They took LSD before
these guys are on acid. I just believe that it's, and I guess it's me evolving. I'm not.
There's also optimism.
But no, there's realism for me. Okay. Doomed as I am a realist. Okay. So I look at things. You can put a positive spin, you can put a negative spin. I still view things as a realistic spin. So if you look at things like adultery or cheating or whatever, if I'm going, bonk, we'll just make it personal. If Angela decided some other dude caught her fancy.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah. There's no more devotion of energy.
Yeah.
Because I have a philosophy around energy. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that Angela would ever do that.
Right.
Betray my trust or break my heart and, all those humanistic things. I don't believe that would ever happen.
Yeah.
I think if there was both Angela and myself are at a point in our evolution as far as people go, mm-hmm. that there was a communication point of just going, dude, I'm just not happy. Mm-hmm. Okay. You're not going to find happiness in someone else. You
shouldn't. You shouldn't. Let this be a PSA to everybody listening. You should not ever seek your happiness out in a person.
You will never find it. You are going to be like the wind.
You should also just never seek happiness in general. And that's not a pessimistic view. That's a lot of people, and I think this is like the issue with a lot of addicts and stuff, is a lot of people believe that they're just supposed to feel happy. They're just supposed to feel numb. They're not supposed to feel negative feelings.
We kind of hit on that in the last episode.
We've touched on that a couple times, but
I think it's one of those things that if you're in a pursuit of happiness, you're going to be like the wind. You're going to blow this way, that way, every which way. You're never going to be satisfied.
And you're going to lose every time.
Yeah, you're going to lose. You're going to...
It can't be found permanently.
No. So happiness is a stage. Is absolutely a stage in life. There's going to be times right after you're at the happiest moment, you're also going to feel sadness. Right. It's the roller coaster of the human emotion, the experience.
It's the roller coaster of life.
Yeah. So if you think that at any given point you're going to find someone or something that gives you, I'm just every day is better than the day before, it's not going to happen. No. It's just realistic.
And if anyone in your life is doing that, they're probably faking it. And you might need to check on them. Like, they're probably purposely trying to do that for some reason.
100%.
Yeah, like...
Hundo.
Yeah.
So you give Loch Ness 4 to 5. Yeah. I give Loch Ness 5 to 6.
Yeah, and I just equate it to, we have similar beliefs on the matter.
Yeah.
It's just... You are a person that has a little bit more faith in things, while I am a person that I don't believe in, like, having just faith or blind trust into anything.
Well, it's like me walking outside yesterday.
Okay.
True form. Okay. I was doing a lot of yard work yesterday. Yeah. I walked out there. Whew, I jumped to the side. I'm like, whoa. Caught me off guard. Western fence lizard.
Okay.
Common lizard. We all know they exist. I didn't expect it to pop out in front of me.
Yeah.
And he's... Sorry for the bang. He's like, what's up? Twitch. And I moved closer to him because I was trying to show my future son-in-law what he could do. And I was just like, they're really cool.
Yeah.
Try to, wrangle him in. Ran to the woods.
He's like,
he was gone. I don't exist anymore. But the fact is, he did exist, right? Yeah. So that's kind of where I am with Loch Ness.
What you're referring to, though, is object permanence. The fact that something can exist and then, one of the things that make humans sentient, we talked about this in the last episode a little bit about sentience and stuff, and we talked about it a couple times, sentience and stuff. We talked about it earlier today. One of the things that proves an idea of sentience in a creature is having object permanence. The knowledge, not belief, but knowledge that something can exist even when you don't see it. But the difference with object permanence is you believe something that still exists when you can't see it anymore. So the idea there is that you've seen it, but don't see it anymore, but you still know it exists.
Right.
And that's true. Matter.
So
that's the truth.
People who have seen Loch Ness, they're like, I don't care. You can hit me with whatever level of science you want to. I know what I saw. So that does tie in. But that being an example, it's just, he disappeared. And I was like, had nobody seen me trying to wrangle this western fence lizard to show Seth, I would have looked like a special needs guy over there hugging a brick wall with my hands trying to capture something.
Where's this lizard?
I found a lizard! And it wasn't there. And I'm like, you're hugging a wall. But it's the fact that, I knew what I was going for. I was trying to show, and it disappeared. So, I didn't have video. I didn't have a photo.
No solid evidence, just
I'm telling you, dude, there was a little lizard here, and I was trying to wrangle him in to show you, and he disappeared.
But see, the thing is, with a lot of those things, again, and it's a faith thing. Sachet.
Ian
Ul. Prost. Cheers. Skull.
Yum.
Yes, yum. Drink. Whatever you said earlier.
Thirsty.
But a lot of that, though, ties back to the fact that we all have, well, not everyone in the world, but most people have experienced a lizard.
Yeah.
Whether it's a western fence lizard or whether it's a bearded dragon, an anole, whatever. Most people have experienced, probably mostly a newt or an anole, but most people have experienced a lizard.
Yeah.
It's easy to believe that you saw a lizard. Especially around here.
I saw a huge 7-foot-tall monkey man in the woods.
That's suddenly. Where it's like, let's wager that on how many people have seen that.
Matt, are you drinking? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, were you drinking? And you have to start looking, and even from a scientific perspective, you have to take into account a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Was the person inebriated?
Yeah.
Was the person inebriated? Was the person did someone else see it first? And then they were like, yeah, I see it too, because there's a mob mentality thing with a lot of beliefs in general. And so that's one of those things where it's like, again, I can have faith that you saw a lizard. Yeah. I can have faith in that because it's likely.
There's a lizard.
And I've seen lizards around areas with a lot of concrete and gardens and this and that, and that's the outside of your house is a lot of
it makes
sidewalks,
sense to your
gardens.
sensibilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I haven't seen is a lake monster. What I haven't seen is a huge snake monster.
Correct.
I've seen things similar to that, but have I seen anything? I've seen dinosaurs, I've seen fossils. I've seen animated versions of dinosaurs that are believed to be the Loch Ness. Have I seen or do I know anyone that has experienced this? For sure, without a doubt, 100%, no.
Correct.
I can't put my faith into that.
That makes sense.
And that's the same thing when it comes to anything in my life, personally, is do I know of any experience that can prove that to me? No. So otherwise, I won't have faith in it because I can't. I can't rely on the sensibility of that being true.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. I think I'm trying to find that Bigfoot video for you still. I'm sorry.
Chupacabra, Chihuahua, or or real?
Real.
Have you seen a lot of the drawn up, the drawn up pictures of the Chupacabra?
Yeah, they're not all legit.
Yeah, like this guy.
Here it is. Watch this.
Okay.
Oh, let me take it back to the beginning.
Turn the sound up so they know we're watching a video here.
Trying to pause it. TikTok. I like the video on accident.
Okay, let's see. It says, shocking Bigfoot attack footage stuns
There's
experts.
no attack. That's all sensationalism.
Yeah, that's sensationalism.
Look at that. It disappears into the woods.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Yeah,
right here.
You can see it as he shakes around. You can see kind of where it drifts off there.
So it was in the footage, 2025, the first Bigfoot viewage.
Yeah, footage, yeah. I will say I'm not sure I believe in that footage. And I can say that because we live in Arkansas. We are surrounded by trees, people that don't know. Have you ever walked through the woods? With no trail or anything. You've
100%.
walked through the woods.
Yeah.
Did you see what that thing did there where it ducked and stuff? I've never done that walking through the woods.
You ever
I push it out of the way.
This thing knew where it was going.
For sure, but if I was in a costume or in a mask and can't see everything, I'm going to duck. Because what do you do when you don't know what's around you? You duck.
You also do this.
Yeah, for sure. And it didn't do that, but it did duck.
Yeah.
But if I'm walking through the woods as a human, even if I was in or not even if I was in a costume, but if I'm walking through the woods as a person, I'm not ducking around in there. I'm pushing things out of the way. I'm a human. I have power. I can push those things to the side.
That's not human.
For sure, but
And it just...
It doesn't necessarily disappear, because when he shakes, you can still see some of the crouching and walking around it. I'm not complaining about shaking. I'm just saying you can still see it. It doesn't necessarily disappear. By the end of the video, you still see part of it kind of crouch under going away or whatever. I'm just saying that it seems very much like, to me, like it would be sensible for a person in a costume that can't see things like right around their peripheral vision, that they would be ducking just in case they hit something. Because if you hit something, it's going to take a mask or anything off.
That's fair.
So I always think about those things. Before we get into Chupacabra, what do we got here?
Before we get into Chupacabra, I wanted to share this with you. This is...
The wife is over there. I don't know. She's
Num
asleep.
Nums by Tum Tum. But so...
Tum Tums Num Nums.
Tum Tums Num Nums. These are autumn. You already smelled it.
That's a brownie.
It smells so good. So these
my
are
ears
some of
stopped
her.
up.
It's super moist. It's sticking to my finger still.
It is. When did she make them?
Recently. So these are her.
But I mean, like how many days ago?
Not that long ago.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not saying that as like an insulting thing. I'm saying if she made this like upwards of 3 to 5 days ago,
it was
and
3
this
to
is
5
still
days
this
ago.
moist.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
So these now there's walnut in them, giving you a heads up. But
Okay.
these brownies
I'll die.
that she made
I'm
She sells
allergic,
now
but
normally a little bit bigger. $2 a piece is all she sells these for.
Very big bricks of chocolate.
I see walnut right there. You can see the texture.
Okay, I'll die. I'm allergic.
Here we go.
I'm not.
Oh.
That's a good brownie.
So freaking good, dude.
That's such a good brownie, dude. Now, I will say, for the audience, I'm pretty inebriated. Just to be honest with you.
I am not. So,
but that's a good brownie, dude. Celeste, I don't know if she ever tried the brownie or not. She's out, dude.
Sleeping like a lampshade in the solar eclipse over there.
I don't know if she tried it, but hopefully she did, because I'm going to eat this whole thing myself. But there's more? Okay.
Is that not good? So, Autumn has, like, manufactured the perfect moist, delicious.
It is so moist, dude.
The flavor is
and
so
like
good.
you said, 3 to 5 days-ish. Dude, the fact that it's still moist... Because we've all cooked the box brownies.
Yeah.
And you know they get...
Day 3, you're like, crunch.
Yeah, but you're still eating them because it's still chocolate and tastes like chocolate. Dude, this is so moist. There's no, like, crunch to it.
It's so good.
Just enough of a crunch with, like, some of the chocolate chips or whatever's going on in here. Walnuts or whatever.
Num-Nums. On Facebook, guys.
Facebook.
Give them a follow, give them a like, and give them an order. Holy crap. They're delicious. So,
that's so good, dude.
She typically charges... It's a big square.
And you guys do deliver local.
Yeah, local
in
Arkansas.
In Arkansas. For people that aren't aware. I was talking about it earlier. Is there a potential... Obviously, you can't ensure quality over long distance, and you would need to put that as a disclaimer. But is there a potential for potential long distance?
Hell yeah. Ship these things out.
Because, I mean, if this is 3 to 5 days old...
Yeah.
And you ship that to me in this plastic...
Yeah, she seals them all up, and it says,
seals them.
made for you, with love, or whatever.
Yeah. And you send that to me. 3 to 5 days, it gets to me in the mail. As long as it's sealed properly and everything, there's a good chance this still tastes just as good as this.
The taste is going...
This is so good, dude.
It's so delicious.
I would say, and this isn't, we just used a word earlier, this isn't to sensationalize anything. Compared to some of the modern bakery kind of food, like these big chains like Crumble and stuff like that,
right.
This is a solid brownie, dude. This is a solid brownie. The only thing I have to complain about is the fact that there's not adult products in it, but that's because I'm already inebriated.
Yeah. Those brownies are fire. So Autumn has perfected. I will give her full credit. I love this kid with all my heart, and I'm just telling you, it's nothing to do with that. Just fat guy talking is the fact that I would eat these brownies constantly.
Oh my god, dude! I want another one. I want another one right now.
They're the best brownies I've ever had in my life.
They're so good, dude.
So many years.
And she had cookies and other stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. She does cookies. She does all kinds of cookies, dude. She doesn't really like doing sugar cookies, but she'll make sugar cookies. That's hard to say. But she'll make those. But she makes this one. It's like a strawberry cookie. Oh, my God. It's so good.
Strawberry
You want some
cookie.
heat with that sweet, don't you?
I do, a little bit, yeah.
No,
it made me want to crave the hot
You're like,
over
that
here.
was sweet enough. I want some fire in my life.
Ooh.
Earthquake. Brought to you by the fine folks at Zenith Dark Sky Enterprises.
It's Dark Sky Entertainment. That's my LLC.
But Chupacabra. Now, while you're dipping in your ranch and you're enjoying that spicy wing
Chihuahua or real?
So, I believe, because I believe some of the stuff is fake.
She wakes up after the... Did you eat one of those brownies?
Did you have a brownie?
She went back to sleep.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not listening.
She's like, I give no crap about brownies. Her loss, our gain. The Chupacabra. So, for long tradition in... that is not what he looks like. So, I believe it to be... well, there are beliefs, I should say. Not mine.
That spice has hit me.
That it's demonic.
You believe it's demonic?
No.
Oh.
There are beliefs.
Now,
this is in Latin America, South America. There's a lot of
because
beliefs.
it attacks livestock.
Well, you tie into the fact that those areas are also heavily Catholic.
For sure.
Heavy
Mexico.
Catholic areas. Oh, it's eating my sheep. It's eating my goats. It's got to be a devil. You know, they don't say it like that. I don't know why I talk like that. It would be
It's not
Un
racist.
mensaje por las personas es muy importante. El chupacabra es mi goat.
That may have been worse, honestly, than that.
That was better
than the
because I
bad
spoke
accent.
some Spanish. So but it's the fact that they believed this thing to be demonic because it was killing their livestock, and their livestock was their livelihood.
It's livestock.
Yeah,
Livelihood
I
stock.
believe in a huge way. It's
Huge.
vast. This sauce
Vast.
is the bomb. Let me tell you. Sorry, I'm playing with our Trump doll up here, but I believe that this thing could be real, in the sense of if you look at some of the ranchers who have shown the desecrated bodies of their livestock that have happened, it has like innards are still there.
Yeah.
It has just completely drained the blood.
Yeah.
From their creatures.
And see, that's... Okay, so this is where our beliefs on Chupacabra is going to differ.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of beliefs and stories about Chupacabra being a blood-sucking beast of some sort. I don't think it's that way. A lot of the pictures... I'm saying it with quotes again. I'm not going to put my quotes near the mic, but Matt did it for me. But a lot of the images we've seen of believed chupacabras look almost like a malnourished hyena. Now, the biome of Mexico and Puerto Rico is very similar to that of Australia and Africa. These places that we see in South America, that we see hyenas or wild dogs of any sort that are in this nature. And there's often rumors about chupacabras being some form of malnourished, larger chihuahua. You know, like, that's why I brought up the joke about, is it a chihuahua or is it something? I do believe, I'll go ahead and say it now before we even get deep into it. 10 out of 10, I do believe in chupacabra.
Yep.
But that's because my belief on chupacabra isn't that it's a blood-sucking creature necessarily. It's that it's a creature probably malnourished, trying to survive. And it's either a hyena or a chihuahua or a wild dog of some sort that is trying to survive in these arid temperatures, in these arid biomes that are hard to survive in as a person.
So I hate to interject another podcast into our podcast, but conspiracy theories. They're a phenomenal podcast. I listened to them back when it was Molly Brandenburg. And I listened yeah, that's how she talked. I'm Molly Brandenburg. Anyway, they had a
lot
phenomenal...
of old podcasts where they were like
I don't remember
very up close to them, like, hello, I'm Molly Brandenburg. My Not Very Scary Stories podcast does the same thing.
Yeah. Well, there was another guy, and I can't, for whatever reason, probably the beer and the wings, but I can't remember his name. But Molly Brandenburg is phenomenal. She's as far as a voice actor, she delivers so well. Well, there was an episode I listened to about the chupacabra. So when you listen to the stories that they talk about, they deep dive. We're surface level, right? We're touching on different.
Yeah, we're trying to go through several things at once.
When you listen to the chupacabra story that they go into, dude, this thing is like flying from building to building. It's not a malnourished dog. These are actual reports, and like they were even like, how do we debunk? Because they don't believe. I love conspiracy theory podcast and the fact that they don't believe everything. They'll report it and they go, this is where we see it, right? There wasn't enough of this. There wasn't enough of that. And they really deep dive. I love, if you guys are on Spotify, check out Conspiracy Theories.
Matt's
phenomenal.
playing footsie with me over here.
How you doing, baby? They're a phenomenal. We changed the table tonight. Just letting you guys know. You can't see it.
They can't see it yet. Eventually, I hope we will get a video.
I think next episode we go some.
What my thing is we could do video right now. I need a cord that is long enough.
I could use my phone. We could go TikTok live.
Oh, okay.
We could do that.
Tell us in the comments or
hey, if you guys want to see
at the email
while we're throwing down these wings and these beers, you want to see
want to see some videos
Let us know.
A video, a podcast, a live TikTok, a live on YouTube or whatever. Do you want to see this live in person?
If so,
us just chowing down on some stuff, dude.
Because I've thrown out the email beerandwingspod.com multiple times,
gmail.com.
and I've only got like one or two emails.
Which were good emails. There were reviews and stuff.
We got
like,
a stellar review, by the
from
way.
Arizona or whatever.
Yeah, we got one good one from
Arizona.
Arizona.
That was from a comment.
Yeah, that was Mary from Arizona. Mary, if you're listening, if you're not listening, shame on you for giving up. But if you are listening, Mary from Arizona, thank you so much. We appreciate you. There was somebody I was going to give a shout out to. Time out. There was somebody. I told them.
Yeah, and you told me too, but you didn't tell me the name or anything. You said you need to shout out someone.
Crap, who would it? I said, I'm going to give you a shout out. You don't have to do that. Told me.
Did you go, was it Rock House or something?
Nope.
Was it somewhere you went with the wife, though?
No, it was a follower. It was a follower. Hold on. It was a follower on TikTok Live. Okay. I said, I'm going to give you a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Lenora.
Yeah.
Lenora.
It's my aunt's name.
That's what it was, Lenora.
Yeah. Lenora, shout out to you, dude.
Yeah, we did not forget you. It's just, there's...
Check us out on the lives, dude. If you guys aren't used to... We mainly play video games live, but check it out.
Angela brings Moss food.
I asked her to. I texted and asked.
Hot honey.
That's okay. That's all right.
Hey, that Guy Fieri sauce?
That's the hot honey.
It was phenomenal.
It's so good, man.
Hey, everybody, say hi. Hey, Angela, don't leave yet. She's on the podcast.
You gotta mass produce the ranch, dude.
So, Angela,
dude, it's so good. That's
let everybody know. We're gonna take a.
That's way better than like Hidden Valley or whatever.
So, Angela's come here over here. So, Angela's on the podcast with us right now. She does not like to be on the microphone, but
she's the one that did the wings
about these
and everything
wings tonight. She said nope, and she ran away.
She didn't know what to say.
What do you want me to say?
Everything you did, they were magical. These were phenomenal wings.
I cut them up and I fried them and I rolled them in sauce.
And
homemade.
Everything homemade. She did a phenomenal job.
I took my time and picked out the right sauces for you guys.
She did. She picked out Guy Fieri, Flavor Town. That was probably...
I fought Walmart people for this.
She fought Walmart people. But hey, what devil did you kill for Melinda? That's what I want to know. Melinda's ghost pepper I hate my husband's sauce.
For that, or?
What is this? Talk to me about this, babe.
I talked to Melinda herself.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
And she was like, the guys are going to hate this.
Did she hate her
It was so good, though. It was really, really hot. It's hanging out by Trump. We got to look. Trump's giving it a thumbs up over here.
He thinks it's good.
I'm going to go take care of the chickens.
Oh, she's taking care of chickens. That was Angela, guys. And, she did a phenomenal job.
She brought us more wings. That's why we interjected there.
Yeah, she brought more fries. She brought more wings.
Give me a challenge next week or next time. It's going to be hotter.
Oh. Now, if y'all didn't hear her, she said next week it's going to be hotter.
Okay.
So, all you people who did not choose to sponsor
I'll cherish this for now.
I love my wife, and she's bringing us more freaking heat.
Heck yeah.
The ghost pepper was hot.
Chupacabra.
So, back to the point. Conspiracy Theories podcast. There was an episode where they talked about the Chupacabra. And there was I think it was in maybe New Mexico or Mexico, one or the other. And this thing, like they were out there with their guns trying to shoot this damn thing. It's jumping from roof to roof.
They said, I need my cows and my goats.
Like the screams it was casting out and all this kind of... It was not a dog. There's no way. It's jumping from building to building with wings.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, dude. Conspiracy theories. And I hate to get you to leave my podcast to go to another podcast, but go to Conspiracy Theories.
And tell them you heard from Beer and Wings.
Yeah. Molly Brandenburg left the show. She's phenomenal. Molly, we love you. We miss you. You were phenomenal. But she did when the two of them did this episode about the Chupacabra, they go into all these deep dive stories, which we're not going to go to here. But they hit on so many points that's where I just have to refute your thing about it being a malnourished dog. These are things they couldn't counter. And they deep dove. They're like, dude, it's jumping from like the church to the general store, from the general store to somebody's house. It's like jumping around.
I don't think a dog couldn't do that.
Absolutely. With wings? What dog has wings?
I've never heard of Chupacabra with wings.
This thing has wings and it's
I've never heard any Chupacabra stories with wings.
So, homework for you, Zach, is listen to on Conspiracy Theories.
Conspiracy Theories podcast.
It's a yellow background. It looks super cool. It kind of looks like my Mattrixxz gaming background.
Okay.
But it's a yellowish background. Conspiracy Theories. Scott something. I can't remember his name, but he's not bad. He's not bad, but he was so much more with Molly Brandenburg. But if you go back to the Chupacabra episode, where they dive into it, and they're like, and they beat it up on all different sides. Like, yeah, we kind of believe. No, we don't really believe. Whatever. That's them. That's them. Yeah. So give them a follow.
They got IMDb page. Look at them.
Give them a follow.
They're more successful than us.
And they tell you that sometimes the true story is... I don't remember. Sometimes what you hear is not the true story, but sometimes what blah, blah, blah. They do this like really cool intro. I love conspiracy theories. I love that podcast.
If you like conspiracy theories, I would also suggest, if we're just throwing it out there, the podcast Lore by Aaron Mahnke.
Okay.
It's one of the OG podcasts.
Now,
like when podcasts started blowing up, becoming a huge thing. You had Joe Rogan. You had a few other people. Aaron Mahnke did Lore. They even got a Prime Videos TV series going over like select episodes, and they had a two season run. Fantastic stuff. I believe that podcast is still going on. He's got a few other podcasts like Cabinet of Curiosities, and he always hits obscure things. Jersey Devil, like
Jersey Devil is another one they touched on.
He hits cryptids. He hits horror stories, like paranormal stories. He hits true crime stories, and everything. But he always rounds everything out in a very relatable way. At the end of the episode, where he kind of almost does like a thesis statement of certain things. What do you think on believability of Chupacabra, as far as you know Chupacabra?
Well, as far as I know, is a 0. I know nothing of the...
Whoa! Yeah. Okay.
As far as what I know of Chupacabra, 0. I know nothing of the Chupacabra.
Okay. Well, I mean, believability.
Believability is 5. Because, again, I'm like, I've never seen anything like that. But I'm not going to discount it in saying it doesn't exist. I think it's one of those things that it could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
I think all of these things could be.
When you have farmers who their whole livelihood is based upon sheep or cattle or whatever else, and they're like, bro!
And they're reporting
my sheep is a dehydrated corpse over here. Mm-hmm. That's hard to refute.
My thing with the dehydration and the blood aspect of chupacabras is for thousands of years, when we go into vampires, or when we go into...
We need to hit on that before we leave, too.
Yeah, when we go into anything like that, a lot of these base beliefs for vampires, or for things that are sucking blood of any sort...
Can I have one of those?
Yeah, man.
Thanks, buddy.
When you go into any of those belief systems, there is a misunderstanding of how blood reacts to a dead creature. Or in a dead creature.
But these things are like dehydrated, like sucked dry.
They seem dehydrated, but it's also Mexico, where when it dies, and rigor mortis, comes into play, and the blood congeals and stuff like that. Blood is still a liquid. There are parts of it that are still going to evaporate.
Yeah.
But it's not 100% water.
Bit.
Yeah, but how many things bit it when it died?
Yeah,
a possum probably came by, a raccoon probably came by,
but
a cat, a snake.
Possum, cat, raccoon, snake. Or snakes are going to bite a dead carcass.
But all these things have very separated
they're going to leave different
fang.
Teeth imprint. They're going to grab a bite and a snag. They're going to chunk off meat.
Not all the time. No, snakes bite plenty of things without trying to eat it.
But a snake's not going to bite a
just
dead
out of
animal.
Defense. Maybe. If it happens, I've seen snakes attack.
I know snakes.
I know snakes too.
They're not going to bite a dead animal.
I've seen snakes attack things. As long as there's still a thermal signature, there's no reason a snake wouldn't attack something as long as if it wasn't dead super long.
But with
and chihuahuas and many things that have like
chihuahuas need to be eradicated. Okay. They're a horrible breed.
I love chihuahuas.
They need to go in the garbage.
Let's look at malnourished dogs real quick.
Okay.
A malnourished dog is gonna lose. It's gonna lose its teeth.
Yep.
But the most important teeth that are going to be exercised frequently to a malnourished dog are its canine teeth. Its sharp teeth.
You believe that happens with the level of severity? I think it's a fair word that it's happened to the Mexican people.
I think so.
Chihuahuas running up.
Not Chihuahuas necessarily, but dogs, wild dogs. I keep using Chihuahuas just because I like Chihuahuas.
But wild dogs would have eaten the rest of the carcass.
Not all the time. Sometimes they eat what they need to. Remember, animals eat to survive.
But they're missing no intestines. They're missing no meat, muscle, whatever. There's a bite.
Yeah.
How do you explain that with a dog?
I think when you eat chicken, we ate plenty of chicken today.
We've eaten a ton of chicken today.
When you eat chicken or turkey, especially turkey or anything, do you want it to be moist?
No, I like dry chicken.
No, you don't.
I don't.
you like moist chicken. You like moist turkey. You like moist meats.
Yeah.
Even someone who likes their steak well done still wants it to be moist. They still want moisture. Yeah. Why wouldn't an animal also want moisture? But if it lives in an arid environment where the blood is congealing and evaporating to an extent, well, I would buy. If I bit into something that was very dry, I'm not going to eat it.
No.
I'm not going to eat the whole thing. Why would an animal do the same thing? It's going to take the bite, see if it likes it, move on. If it's starving, like extremely starving, it'll eat it. But if not, it's going to taste it.
But to drain the blood from it?
I don't think the animals are.
No,
I don't think any of these things are draining the blood. I think that is just a product of blood congealing and the heat evaporating.
I hear you.
I don't think that is. I think what we see.
You can be wrong.
Okay. What we see as humans is we see a bite mark, and we see dehydrated animals.
That's a possibility.
So we think, something sucked up. That's not true. If you die today, I bite you.
Why would you bite me?
Okay, listen. Just as a metaphor, if you died today, out in the desert, Death Valley, California,
acid. I'm out there eating
shrooms. It's a whole movie, But you die.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get to the point that I'm starting to starve or whatever. I bite you, but I'm not starving to the point of survivability yet. It's just like one of those things where I was
thirsty.
Yeah, I'm like, let me see about this guy. Let me see about Matt. I bite you. I don't like it because you're dehydrated and you've been dead long enough. Your blood is dehydrated. Everything about you is dehydrated. I bite into stiff human meat.
Yummy.
Yeah, and I'm like, screw this. Let me go 10 miles down the road and see if I can find something a little bit more moisturized, at least a Buffalo Bill victim who threw on some lotion or something, I'm going to go down the road. Why wouldn't animals do that? There's no reason. People can be like, well, animals are doing things for survival. If they're not to the extent that they're starving yet, but getting to that point, there's no reason that an animal wouldn't eat something. I give food to my cats all the time that they'll lick, and they don't like, and they won't eat it. There's been days that we've been really hard on money or whatever. Maybe my cats went a day or so without the food that they're used to. I throw them a piece of turkey or whatever that we're not going to eat, but it's not necessarily expired. But it's dried out, and the cats are like, they take a bite or two, and they're like, oh, no. That's just dehydrated. This is
but
nasty.
Their teeth marks are there.
But their teeth marks are still in. What's preventing any other animal from that?
Fair rebuke.
So that's my thing with chupacabras, and that's why my review, my rating for chupacabras is like a 1.
Oh.
I think it is probably... Maybe it's a different species of wild dog, but I think it's a hyena or a chihuahua or some kind of a wild canine animal, or maybe even a feline animal that
doesn't want it.
We're confusing for something else, but it just doesn't want these things because it's in an arid environment.
So a perfectly healthy sheep would deviate miles from the flock to die. Miles from the flock and die. And be drained, apparently, of all bodily fluids.
I will never believe the drained of the bodily fluids.
I'll have to send you some videos.
My thing with believing that is, again, it's an arid temperature. I mean, Mexico gets
there's
hundreds of degrees
between dehydrating and being vacuum dry.
But I have never seen evidence of anything being vacuum
I'll send you some
dry.
Videos.
But also, when you have you ever seen a dead human corpse on the internet?
Yeah.
The skin and everything is tight to the bones, as if they were sucked dry of anything.
Maybe they were.
But it's because there's maybe
but
it's medical. But it's also a good chance that their skin, everything in any living being requires moisture.
What if all doctors are prepping us to what they like in taste with the medicine
and the doctors are killing us so they can eat us?
They're actually the vampires, and they eat us later. That's a whole different episode.
Do we want to get into some of that? That's crazy.
But, okay, so we...
So my chupacabra belief is like a 1.
A 1? You went from a 0 to a 1. Okay.
Or 0 or a 1. And that's mainly because I don't think they're chupacabras. Something separate is
something hungry.
As much as I think they're just something hungry.
So we will hit on another one, and it's one that actually got cued on to me by conspiracy theories. It was and I forgive me if I mispronounce. I am not French, but it's the beast of Gévaudan.
Yeah.
So you just eat the whole thing, bro.
No, man, I want it pieces.
That was wing abuse. You guys heard that. He's still going to eat it. Get it, Zach.
I am.
He's getting it. It's all hairy, covered in fleas.
He didn't blow it off.
No, he didn't blow it off. He just ate the hair. It was good. But the beast of Gévaudan. We want to talk about this for a second. So I think it was the 1500s, maybe even beyond that. I think it was 1800s. Oh my God! Will you Google that for me real quick?
I'm looking at it right
misquote. The beast of Gévaudan.
It's looking like
1700s, 1800s.
Well, there's some evidence as recent as 1987.
I don't believe in it, and I'll tell you why in a moment.
Yeah, 1764.
17. Okay, so 1700s, 1800s. So in this peaceful French town, where there was local church that was vastly responsible for the salvation of all their people. And they were a very peaceful, tranquil French town called Gévaudan. And they did their thing. They lived their life. Everybody was great. Well, all of a sudden, in 1764...
In the Mercois
Forest, suddenly people were disappearing.
And they saw a beast like a wolf.
A wolf.
Yet not a wolf.
And it was randomly eating people. Yeah, you heard that right. Eating people. Like, people witnessed this thing right in front of them, chomping down on their brother, sister, mother, uncle, aunt. It didn't matter. Ow! Got a bite. And they'd run back to Gévaudan. And they would do, oh my God, the beast of Gévaudan is here. Is he eating our people?
The beast of Gévaudan.
And any ancestors of the people of Gévaudan, I am so sorry, but I'm just telling you.
I do have keep going, but I do have a theory.
This is a story. So, these people kept getting eaten. And like, don't go too far in the woods. If you go too far in the woods, you will get eaten by the beast of Gévaudan.
Is Trump French? Because it sounds kind of similar.
Now that would be, it's not going to be huge. It's going to be, I don't want to give credit to China. But anyway, they would go out to, in this peaceful little hamlet. I brought it up again.
Hamlet.
They'd go out, they'd do their thing. If they went too far, there was a potential that the beast of Gévaudan would find them.
We should do an episode that is just me taking you on a solo D&D journey.
We should do that.
I think. Tell us in the comments.
1 die, 20, everything.
I've got all.
I've got dice.
I've got like 60 dice in the back.
I've got a bunch of dice from Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, we'll just bring them in. I'll run you through a character before we start. What's character creation? I'm using D&D
Fighter Ranger
Beyond.
Thief, baby.
Fighter Ranger. Oh, he's done multi-class.
Multi-class, baby. Okay. That's how I'm doing. But yeah, anyways, we'll do this. We'll do this on a maybe a live stream. Who knows? But anyway, these people of the poor little area of Gévaudan. They
so everyone listening to this is like,
they're like,
these guys are just trying to speak French.
They mispronounce that horribly. It's Gévaudan. But Zach's finally catching up to me.
I'm trying.
But anyway, it was horrific. I feel bad because there was like little girls running back to the town. My uncle's neck just got ripped open by this beast. He bit into the neck.
Terrific incident, like the actual definition of terrific, not terrific, but like
it was horrible. Yeah, like these real accounts of what was happening. I was out in the woods with my uncle. We were going to find strawberries, and his neck got ripped off by this beast. It ripped into his neck. It kind of looked like a wolf, but it wasn't a wolf, and it was tall when it stood up on its hind legs, and it blah, 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 all these stories of the beast of Gévaudan. So they go into all these stories about this thing, right? So you have your urban legends, you have your mythic lore that these people talk about the beast of Gévaudan. So all this happened. Well, we have to take a pause. So I call...
To mention Factor, our newest spot now.
I just call bullshit.
Okay.
On everything.
I think, while you're calling bullshit, let me also call bullshit and tell you that I think it is the remnants of the dire wolf.
I don't even think it was that.
You don't think that?
So I tell you why. Not that you were wrong, because it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
That something bigger that was not native to their area. Are you still sipping on the tall boy?
Brother, I'm sipping on everything. Brother, I'm sipping on wing sauce. I'm sipping on...
Yay.
Sipping on my swag juice. My swag juice.
I will never say it like that again. But the fact is, there was a rich guy.
One rich guy.
That lived in the area of Gévaudan.
Gévaudan.
Yeah. So, he loved exotics.
I also do.
He had pet lions.
Okay.
Pet tigers.
Okay.
He was rich.
Rich?
He also had pet hyenas.
Oh.
Yeah.
We talked about those.
So, every description... every description...
There's a common belief that coyotes are just a hyena.
No, they're not. Hyenas are weasels.
You think they're weasels?
They're genetically. Like, if you go back, they're weasels. I promise.
Interesting.
They're in the weasel family.
I always thought they were just a wild dog.
No, they're hyenas. They're not dogs at all.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Go on.
So,
weasels. The weasels are
Gévaudan, I love your story. I love you. I will drink to you.
I
will drink. Here's to Gévaudan.
Songez.
But I'm telling you, your story's full of crap. So, what happened is you had a really rich guy who had all these exotic animals. And guess what happened to escape?
Hyenas.
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 Hyenas. That was Arkansas. Hyenas.
Yeah, hyenas.
They escaped.
It's just a inbred lady. That's all.
They escaped his enclosures.
Okay.
So a hyena. If you've never seen a hyena, hyenas are huge.
I've seen a couple of hyenas.
They're freaking huge. You know how big Kobe is.
I think the problem with people believing in hyenas not being these creatures are when you look at a documentary with a hyena on like any,
you're comparing it to a lion.
Attenborough. Yes.
On a lion.
Exactly.
Vastly.
You're looking at this hyena trying to attack this vastly larger creature.
Yeah, can't.
But you don't have the perspective of what size that creature is.
There's a guy. I will find the picture for you. He has a pet hyena. He lives in Africa. He's a black guy. He has this chain. He's
like most people in Africa.
No, we're not talking about South Africa.
Okay.
He has this thick gauge chain. He has it wrapped around his whole forearm, and he's carrying his hyena.
Yeah.
Walking his hyena through the streets. It's muzzled.
Agreed.
Hyenas are powerful.
Yes.
They're nothing but teeth, muscle, and asshole. That's what a hyena is.
That's all I am, dude.
Well, I'm just saying.
Ask my wife.
The hyena is...
Teeth,
I'm not talking about your
muscle,
striped hyenas. I'm talking about your spotted hyena. The one that you see on The Lion King. They laugh. We're going to get you, Simba. No. A hyena?
Did you do the voice acting for Lion King?
I did twice.
Okay.
They turned me down. But I still did it.
You auditioned for it?
I was like, no, Mufasa. And they didn't like that when I did that.
So you went for the... And then they took someone else that did that.
They're like, that sounds more like Scooby-Doo. And I was like, just brought out the
Zoinks!
Zoinks, Scoob! Yeah, but it was a hyena. So, right by this city of Gévaudan...
He said, did you guys hear that? He said for a fact it was a hyena.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
The fact that you have a small hamlet, Gévaudan, that's right here by this rich dude who's like, I've gone to Africa.
Like here in Arkansas.
I've gone to Argentina. I've gone to all these countries. I bring
Argentina, where the Nazis live.
special, beautiful animals back as pets for myself. And he almost went into Arnold Schwarzenegger. I almost did.
It's
you heard
Austrian.
That. Don't you do that, yeah. But
Yeah, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Yeah. But he brings these animals back. He has no modern means of encapsulating or creating a biome for these animals.
Right.
Well,
back then, people that wanted exotic animals did it for purely the appearances.
Yeah. Look at me with my baby tiger.
Look baby tiger. The French people are gonna hate us.
Frickin' French. I've got a lion. He's going to eat you, but not yet. He's just a little baby. Yeah. They brought these hyenas in, spotted hyenas,
spotted hyenas.
So if you've ever had a ferret, which is in the weasel family, if you've ever had a weasel,
a weasel.
If you've ever had that, these dudes are escape artists, right? You know that. So the hyena is also in the weasel family. So if you have
the weasel its way out.
Bingo.
Bingo.
So if you have a hyena in
was his name? But that was the dog.
That was a dog, not the hyena. His name was Bingo.
Bingo.
But it was E-A-U-X at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, his name was Bingo.
Bingo.
But if you had a spotted hyena that you couldn't properly enclose,
and who
these
could?
Hyenas
in the
were like,
1700s?
bruh, you're giving me hamburger meat.
There's a lot of meat around here, bro.
I want more meat. I want to go travel down to this hamlet known as Gimondon
by William Shakespeare.
And that's what happened. So in between, and I firmly believe this, which conspiracy theories hit really, really strong on this, and I firmly believe with them. And
firmly grasp it.
Firms. Since then, I have also dug in additionally, and it is firmly believed that it was the escaped spotted hyenas from this count or whomever he was who had all these exotic animals. Exotic animal. He had them. And they escaped.
God, it's so good.
And so you had people who hunted them and shot them and all this kind of stuff. Well, these were people that were part of the royal family's family. Don't worry, Gévaudan. We killed your werewolf. We shot him in the head.
We killed your werewolf.
We shot him. We took his body back here. You'll never...
There's no such thing as like anthropy, no.
Yeah, you go back out here. You work the crabs for the king.
It's a hyena wee-wee.
Yeah, so they eat hyena wee-wee. That's what we found out. But it's the point that all of that is where you have to be careful. So you have lore, you have traditional lore, where people are like, oh no, here in Gévaudan, we cannot exceed beyond the torchlight. If we exceed beyond the torchlight...
well, who are we to believe people that let rats control their hair and control their cooking? You know what I mean?
Ratatouille.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, that was actually semi-proven to be a spotted hyena or hyenas that escaped from that rich guy that was...
rich guy?
Lived in
a rich guy in France?
He lived by a nearby city in Gévaudan.
In France?
Yeah, so I wanted...
Francais?
The whole purpose of bringing up the beast of Gévaudan was to counter it. So where I believe in Bigfoot, I believe...
So we've had a nice spectrum of things where it goes from heavy evidence, heavy belief, to and then to the end where it's like, okay, this is
bullshit.
Probably a hyena. I would like to believe a dire wolf, but that's because we don't know for sure when dire wolves died out. Have you seen that we've revived the dire wolf?
Well, have you paused there? Back forward 10 years. Have you heard about the wolves of Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So these are wolves that are bigger than wolves.
Yeah.
That were impacted by the chemical reactions that happened in Chernobyl. So these things are the birth of the...
these things on Chernobyl.
These things are from Gévaudan with the... No, they're not. But the dire wolf thing, there's a lot of skepticism.
Well, the recent dire wolves that we... Yeah, the recent ones that we revived. These are from fossils in old DNA. These aren't from anything that
it's a male and a female. They brought Yeah, but there's a lot of skepticism. They don't believe in it.
I haven't seen a whole lot of skepticism, honestly.
I'll send you links, buddy. I'm telling you. Me personally, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy talking on a podcast literally drinking beer and eating wings,
Talking
talking
about
to you. Je vendons. But it's
that was Italian.
yes. I gotta put the hands up or it doesn't count. I did pinchy fingers, just for you.
Pinchy fingers for the spaghetti.
But yeah, I'm sorry the people of Gévaudan who died by the werewolf. I don't believe it was a werewolf.
Italy, yeah.
I rest your souls in peace, but I really believe you got eat up by a spotted hyena.
Spotted hyenas, what got you?
Yeah, we know what that is. That's not
we
even
talk
rare.
real American for that. Hey, y'all Frenchmen, let me tell you what. That was one of them spotted hyenas from down yonder in the Outback. Yes,
Good old
sir.
Louisiana, you got eat up by...
Y'all know down the Outback Steakhouse, they brought them hyenas over and they got you.
I don't really believe in the Beast of Gévaudan. It's a zero. It's a 0 for me.
0 for yeah.
I believe.
I think again it's like a 0 to 1 for me, like the chupacabra, where it's like it's probably something else.
There's some werewolf out there clicking his fingers like hell yeah. I got to.
Yeah, like they don't know it's a wolf, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
but I full on
Little
believe.
Red Riding Hood's murderer.
When
He's
you
like out there happy.
When you go from the 100 square foot hamlet or 1,000 square foot hamlet, and you go to a 30,000 square foot overview. Suddenly you see there's a count over here who has hyenas that got out.
Yeah.
That's what was eating your people, bro.
Gévaudan, la hyena.
I think Gévaudan is French for victim of hyena. That's what I really feel. No offense to the people of Gévaudan. Let us know.
Yeah, the French folks that listen to us, that don't actually listen to us, go ahead and listen to this episode and see.
Yeah, you're like, I've got an itch. I don't know how to scratch it. It's Beer and Wings at Spotify and YouTube and Facebook. Check us out. But
I think as far as cryptids go, that's where we should call on this one.
Yeah, there's so many more.
There's so many cryptids that we could jump into.
I do just want to touch before we go further and escalate out of this episode.
Keep your hands off me.
You like that?
Don't tell the folks that the fans aren't supposed to know.
But so before we leave this, I just want to hit on this. So I believe, and you can disagree, agree. No, I obviously believe in aliens, but
that's another episode.
That's a whole different episode. But
there he is.
It's
like a handsome Squidward alien.
Do you like that painting I did?
Is that an alien?
It's a gray.
Okay, to me it looked like handsome Squidward.
It's a gray
mixed
based on
with
this podcast I was listening to about a guy who worked at Area 51, and I based that painting on what he described.
That's just a malnourished man.
So,
that's a homeless man that I've seen down the road.
I will tell you about this painting, though. It's still for sale, letting you guys know. This painting, if you put it in total black, it's got glow in the dark.
Oh.
It'll pop off the canvas on you.
It's not from Gévaudan?
No, it's not Gévaudan. It's Gévaudan Matt.
Okay.
That was a painting I did of the gray. I was listening to a podcast about aliens while I painted that. Okay. And I also listened to Seven Tempest by Tool while I was painting that.
Were you on LSD or?
No, I haven't done LSD since that's been 30 years ago, actually. Thank you.
That's been a lot shorter for me, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's when I was in my studio at Higginson, and I actually...
Arkansas?
Yeah, Higginson, Arkansas. I painted the gray based solely on a podcast.
The one listener from Higginson, Arkansas we have was like, "Whoa, that's
holy crap! Mama, they talked about us." She's like, "Give me my more tobacco." But
she said, "Why aren't you cleaning my stoma yet?"
My stoma. So we'll hit real quick before we leave crypto on this episode. Not crypto. Not cryptocurrency.
I was like, whoa.
That's a whole different episode because I've made some people some money on that.
You did.
But
not me yet, but
cryptozoology. I just want to ask you, because I firmly believe in the three possible. Me? I'm asking you personally, but I will tell you, I firmly believe in these three things that could possibly exist. Both in my faith and just things I've seen.
Okay. You beardless wonder.
I shave my beard. It's not beardless. It's stubbly.
Yes. You keep being like, "There's a beard there." Man, that's 5 o'clock shadow to me. But
if your 5 o'clock shadow looks like this,
trust me, when I shave, next day it's that.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm impressed by your masculinity.
Though, and the high testosterone.
Oh, is it white and glorious?
It's not yet. It's getting
someday, son, this will be yours. But so vampires.
Mm-hmm. The Masquerade Blood Hunt.
No. That's something you
gotta check that out on TikTok.
So vampires, fairies,
and
all things fae.
Yeah.
And werewolves.
Yeah.
As in lycanthropes.
Yeah, lycanthropes.
Do you believe? Lycanthropes is by the hyena. We've talked about that. Okay, so vampires, fairies, and werewolves. Do you think they exist?
Do I think they exist?
Or do you think they could exist?
Okay, so there's a difference there.
There's a difference.
Do I think they could exist? 0 out of 10. Or do I think they do exist? 0 out of 10. Do I think they could exist? Now we're talking like 7, 8 out of 10.
Ooh!
Because early ideas of vampires. Well, first of all, origins of vampires.
Yeah.
Besides Vlad the Impaler. Let's take Vlad the Impaler out of the equation because he kind of muddies up the whole timeline.
He was a dirty dude.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Throughout history, we've always had these villains, these bad people who would drain people of their blood, not because they were drinking it or this or that, but because it was just... If someone kills... If there's a serial killer out loose in Arkansas right now, and he's draining people of their blood, you're going to be like, that dude's messed up. That's a villain. That's a bad dude.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to do to people you kill.
Why would you do that, Bob?
Yeah. Yeah, like, just kill them. If you're going to kill them, just kill them. Like,
why are you drinking their blood?
Yeah, why are you draining them or drinking it or whatever? So it's got one-offs here and there, but ultimately vampirism comes from tuberculosis consumption. Comes from the idea that these people would die, and for some reason their bodies wouldn't decompose at the normal rate because we didn't know about certain diseases at the time. Let me burp and get everything.
Summoning demons.
Yeah. They're speaking for me. But the blood wouldn't congeal in certain ways. It would still stay not like uncongealed and very normal and everything while after they were buried. And then they were like, why are our family members dying? From the seemingly same kind of symptoms and everything, and then they'd go dig up these bodies, and they're like, oh, their blood isn't congealed, oh, their heart's not doing this, or these things that we know dead bodies to do. But we know now, as 200 years later, we know that these things are normal for people. If you die of tuberculosis today, your body's not going to decompose the same way. So that's where vampires come from, is this idea that people were afraid that tuberculosis wasn't a disease. They were afraid that it was some form of vampires, and these people would be dead, and they would be in the ground, and when you unburied them, they would be perfectly preserved and everything, and their blood wasn't congealed, but their family members were dying, and their blood was doing these weird things because of tuberculosis, because that's what tuberculosis does. So, that's where general vampirism comes from, and then you look deeper into lore about satanic people who would drink blood or sacrifice people and drain them of their blood as sacrifices, or people like Vlad the Impaler or this or that.
Oh, who would evil dude?
Yeah, evil dudes.
Wicked,
who would claim these crazy things because they had the power to claim those things.
Yeah.
If I'm the president right now and I become a dictator over the U.S. and I start taking over other countries, I suddenly have the power to claim things that may not be true, but who's gonna go against it? Yeah, him or anyone else.
Sorry, Trump made an appearance, guys. Sorry,
but any number of super powerful people. Who's gonna argue against someone super powerful?
Yeah.
You can't. You don't have the. We certainly don't have the platform to argue against Trump or Putin or any of these people. We can sit here and say things, but we might die next week for it. Like,
well, when I look at things like I told you about Dever, I don't know if you listen or not, but I'll mention Dever. So Dever and I used to run Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
And Changeling.
The tabletop RPG, for those that don't know.
Yeah. And Werewolf the Apocalypse. We would run these games. So we were like, it's a tabletop game. So we dug deeper. Mm-hmm. And we started going into lore. Well, like in France, for example, Gévaudan. No, not bringing you back up. But there was a bell tower in France where this being lived. And he was brought people to feed upon. To feed upon.
That happens today.
And
it does happen today. I've seen... There's even documentaries about people who believe they're vampires or this or that, and legally get brought blood samples or this or that to feed upon today, in today's day and age.
Well, this was years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
This decrepit being that was living in a bell tower was brought feeders. Literally.
Feeder rats.
People who were brought to him for him to feed upon, and he would drink their blood and leave their corpse. And they would haul the corpse off. Yeah. This was in somewhere in France. I'd have to look it up. But it wasn't there. It was a neighboring city. Yeah. It was a hyena. But it was this guy that lived inside this bell tower that they would bring up an offering to him, and he would feed upon this individual. Drink their blood. Whew. And then you get into... I don't want to get too deep, but you look into the legacy of Cain.
Francois Bertrand.
Was that the name of the guy?
Sergeant in the French army. He was arrested for necrophilia, but he was a lighthouse keeper. Lived in a tower. Would be brought corpses to feed on. He would eviscerate, dismember them before doing adult activities over the top of them. Wow. But and many people before the reason he was fed is because he would complain about headaches and heart palpitations that could only be cured by these things. People would bring him whatever because he was this huge war hero.
Wow. As he lived in a bell tower.
Yeah. As he lived in a lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
But was also a bell tower. Yeah.
Yeah. They when you look at, there's just a lot of things we don't know.
For sure. I would like to have the suspension of disbelief long enough to say that there's a 3 out of 10 for me for vampires. There's probably a 3 out of 10 for me for fairies. Probably a 3 out of 10 for me for werewolves. Stuff like that. Because there is a suspension of disbelief in me as a person who likes fantasy and who likes a lot of these things. Fair. That would like to believe there is something grander. And that also goes back to the religion thing, why I have trouble believing in a lot of that stuff. I would like to believe that stuff. I've told people before, even when I was an atheist, I would tell people all the time, it is a beautiful idea to assume there is an afterlife. Yeah. Whether it's bad or good, it's a beautiful idea to assume that we are either punished or rewarded for our behavior here. It comes down to proof. It comes down to evidence, whether you have faith or whether you don't, which I typically don't with most things. And I think it's the same way with a lot of these fantastical creatures and whatnot that we believe could exist or could not exist. Or magic or anything. I'd like to believe magic exists.
I do too. I do too.
And don't get me wrong.
I fully believe.
For descriptive circumstances, I think the world is magical. On a descriptive scale.
I feel like the world itself is largely banal.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like there's magic.
We both recently explored a little bit of hot springs. I think there are parts of hot springs that feel magical.
Correct.
Is there magic there? Probably not. It's probably the Earth's core heating up some of the water creates hot springs, and we built a town around it. Hot springs, hot water, typically boils out any bad stuff, so we can drink that water, so it's good for us. Hot Springs, Arkansas. There you go.
Whole city.
Yeah. Is there magic to it? Probably not. But I'd like to believe there is, and I'd like to believe there's vampires.
So it's a separation. So the moment you do not believe in vampires...
Which I don't. To be official about it, I don't believe. I believe by our modern definitions of vampires, like someone sucking blood to try to prolong their life, whether it happens or not. I believe vampires exist. Because there's for sure subcultures of people that think it exists, so they get blood from blood banks and whatnot, and they will drink the blood, and they will preach to you all day and night in interviews that it helps them. Yeah. Do I think it actually does? No.
You're like, no.
No, 100%. I think they're freaking lunatics, but
I feel like there's a definitive line.
Okay.
So if you look at black and white as colors,
yeah, okay,
which they're not. So
yeah,
white
we're bringing it down to a baseline.
Yeah. So white is the inclusion of all color. Mm-hmm. Black is the exclusion
black
of all color.
Yeah.
So if we look at that scale, and you say, "Hey, that can't exist," you are moving more towards the black.
Yeah.
You're moving more towards that cannot exist. It's the removal of all magic.
Mm-hmm.
As you move toward the white and say possibly it could exist, well, now suddenly you're entering a whole world of it's hard to say, myth or Syria. Mm-hmm. You're believing that these things could exist. There's no banality. There's nothing like that exists there. You're believing that.
And I'm definitely more toward the black side of those things.
And I'm more toward the white side. I think we both balance out the middle.
Yeah, and I think again at the end of the day it might go back to the fact that a faith thing.
My faith has nothing to do with the magic.
Well, no, for sure, but like a faith thing.
Sorry.
The ideology. No, you're good. The ideology that you as a person are already preempted to believe in things that you can't see.
True. Fair.
I am not. I have to see it.
Fair.
I have to see it or know someone that experienced it firsthand, not someone that knows a story that knows a story that knows a story. Because,
so what if I were to tell
by
you,
definition, do vampires exist? Yeah, there's people that drink blood.
What if I were to tell you that honeybees and bumblebees like to be pet?
I believe that. I've worked at a honey factory, though.
Oh. Well, crap. Well, I can tell you, we have a bush out here on the property.
Honeybees and bumblebees aren't violent by nature.
Well, if you go to them,
they're survivalistic creatures.
They like the vibration.
Yeah.
So I can go and I blew Seth. Seth, if you're listening, I blew his mind the first time I was petting a bumblebee, and I was just like, dude.
I've seen a lot of people.
They like that.
Yeah, they do. Any small animal that isn't violent by nature, I would say likes to be pet. But going to vampires, fairies, werewolves, things of that nature, do I think those things by definition could exist? We know that there's like a wolfman disease where you can grow hair
on
in
your
certain
tongue
and typically back in the day, those people, whether it's from everyone reacting to them or whatnot, those people tend to eat people. Back in the day, at least.
You eat people, Chevondon.
But so that were werewolves existent by a fantastical nature, yes.
So do you
by pure definition of like a person turning into another creature, another species entirely, overnight and eating and attacking people?
So lycanthropes.
Yeah.
I feel like this podcast is about to go real long, but we're gonna cut it short here. But lycanthropes are not a different species; they are their species.
Well, yeah.
So
I can understand that. Speaking of which, watch the new Wolfman; it's pretty decent.
I have not seen it, but they can change shape, and usually it's from a catalyst.
Yeah.
And they shapeshift, which I believe in the cycles of the moon. I believe the moon has a lot of effect on us.
I believe the moon has effect on us because of its effects on water and liquid, and how humans are 80% of that.
I cannot disagree with that.
I don't, however, believe that it has any effect that we can't resist. I think I can experience a full moon where other people are like, "Oh, it's making me feel kind of weird today." Where I'm like, "It's not me."
Yeah.
But it's also because I'm a dehydrated person because I don't drink a whole lot of water.
You should drink more water. You can ride the wave.
I don't want to ride the wave of sensationalism from the moon and astrologers and their zodiacs and whatnot.
No, all that, I believe a lot of that is garbo too. But it's the fact that there is some truth that hits on all of it. Now,
there's truth in everything.
There is.
Even comedians will tell you all. To quote J. Cole from one of his songs, all good jokes contain true shit.
Yeah.
All good jokes contain true stuff. All lore, all stories, rumors,
Zach is playing footsie with me right now.
Sensationalism. Yeah, is that what that is?
That was my
all
foot.
Sensationalism, everything contains some truth to it. There was something that set people off on X thing.
Yeah. So I would just say that lycanthropes, if they exist, find me.
Okay.
I'll put it out there.
Yeah.
If you exist, find me. beerandwingspod
at gmail.com.
Find me. Vampires, if you exist, find me.
Mm-hmm.
Same email address.
I'd love to have anyone that believes they are something like that.
Anybody who truly believes, or you are.
I'd love to have them in person on the podcast.
Not just that you believe, but that you are these things. Send us an email. beerandwingspod.com. At gmail.com. beerandwingspod@gmail.com.
We'll get the .com. That's a later thing.
Yeah, just hit us with that, and we would love to talk to you. But
I'd prefer to talk to you in person, but I'd be willing to even invite them over digital, like Discord or something. Call
Discord if you're not comfortable being in person. Yeah. I agree. We can do Discord. We can do a phone call. We bring you on a speakerphone.
Be ready to argue about it, though.
Yeah.
Because I will come heavy with people like that. Because I do, to be fair, like aliens or anything, I want to believe those things exist.
Fair.
I love reading. I love fiction. I love fantasy. I love video games. I love movies, everything of that nature. I want to believe those things exist. I don't think they do, and I think there's about zilch chance that they do. Zilch chance that they do.
Hit us with the goose egg.
Yeah.
God.
But I would like it to be real.
It is real.
Because if vampires or lycanthropes or if this or that were real, then my first thing would be like, make me one.
Yeah, I want to be a vampire.
We've talked about this before as youth trying to sell our souls to be these things.
I just want to be a vampire.
I just want to be a vampire, God, please.
But I will say that, I would encourage you guys, if you're listening, if you hear this, hit us up on Gmail. Let us know. We'll bring you either anonymously or here in person on the show. We'll bring you in and we'll talk to you.
We'll have some human wings for you. No, we can't.
No, humans don't have
cannibalism
wings.
isn't illegal, remember.
Yes, I do.
It's illegal. What's illegal is the procurement of human meat.
Well, I know a guy. But the point is there's a lot of weird stuff in this world that people, not you and I are more of the middle of the range, which we discovered, except for Bigfoot. I think we both lean heavy that there could be a Bigfoot.
I think there's a Bigfoot.
I'm pretty sure there's a Sasquatch out there.
I don't know if he's a Sasquatch. I don't know if he's a weird hairy human. I don't know if he's a weird monkey. But all I know is he's out there.
Weird dude that's real hairy that likes walking naked in the woods
redneck.
of Louisiana.
Patty. Patty with the hairy titties.
Whatever you are, if you're listening, no. But I think there's a lot of weird stuff that exists. And I would be a fool. Absolutely a fool for a moment to assume that I think I know everything.
For sure. I think
can't.
anyone is.
I think there's a lot of stuff that exists beyond even my furthest stretch of what could be real.
Aliens. It's next podcast episode. No.
Ayo. Aliens and mental health coming at you.
Both.
But I think that there's a lot of... I think I would be stupid. Literally. And I hate that word, but I think I would be stupid.
I think it's ignorant.
It's stupid.
I think it's ignorant for anyone to assume that they know everything.
Well, it is ignorant to assume you know everything. I think it's stupid to assume that I think I know the outer stretches.
Of what can exist.
Of what could exist. Whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, whatever. This world, go outside. Smell a flower. See what stings your nose.
Watch nature.
Yeah, there's something else out there that you were not aware of.
There's definitely a magical nature to everything. My only counterpoint to that is there a magical nature to everything, or is it the fact that we as humans and as a culture have such a devout background to magical, to fantastical things that we just believe that? Like,
we believe
let's go back 3,000 years.
Yeah.
When we think about the word magic or magical, those things don't exist.
They do.
No. When you go back far enough, it doesn't exist. Eventually, it's imagination.
Fair.
It's people imagining things that could happen or could be.
And
eventually those things some of those things happen to an extent where we can believe it, and so we start to write these things down, and it becomes, we know for a fact that these things happen, and it has a magical sounding nature to it, so we consider it magical. And then as we go on, people as a culture progress toward writing also fake stories about these things, because humans love stories, humans love fiction and stuff like that. That's culture. As we start to develop songs and we start to develop music and art to emphasize these things. But if we go back to a base level, primates, cavemen, stuff like that, we didn't have these thoughts that these things could exist. Fire to us was magical.
Very fair.
Yeah, but that word didn't exist to us.
Magical or fire?
Magic.
No.
Magical. Those things didn't exist until we started to give them meaning.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of that could just very well be the
ignorance?
The summation of years and years and years and years of cultural buildup behind these ideologies that we would like to exist. Even religion, to an extent. We would like that thing. Again, when I was an atheist, very much my mindset was, dude, it'd be awesome if that existed. Yeah. Because that's a much better ending than just black. Than just nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's the case with religion in particular. I'm just saying that everything magical at the end of the day to me is just a sum of beliefs over years and years and years and years and years built up to a point where we're like, yeah, these things could exist. Because me and you 100% right now are being like, yeah, these could exist. But at a base level, if we were to be cavemen again, could they exist? No.
Because we don't know of them?
And because we don't know of them. And so some of it is it knowledge that makes us think these things exist? Or is it the fact that we've become more creative as a race? That we've created the sum of culture, the sum of art, the sum of society, to where we've created all these things that we would like to exist. But we just don't know.
Yeah.
There is no solid proof of any of it. Except for things that
proof and disproof.
Well, except for things that we can prove on a scientific and mathematical nature.
Yeah. I think there's things like with Bigfoot, with Loch Ness, with Chupacabra, Chevanjon, I'm sorry, you're a joke. But the others, I think the Jersey Devil, all these other things that exist as possibilities. I think they exist because they don't exist.
We don't have 100% proof that they're not real. Yeah.
Right. So if it's not oh my God, put the babies up at 10 o'clock.
If we can't prove a vampire isn't real, it's hard to prove that it is.
Well, and some of faith has to do, and I'm not talking about faith in God. I'm saying just
faith in general. Yeah,
faith in general.
Faith in general. That is faith. I have faith that vampires exist. Because, like, when you say I have faith in something, people think that's a positive thing. No, positive nomenclature. It's not. If in the 1800s, when vampires were thought to existed, people had faith that vampires existed. Not that they believed in them in a positive light, but they
believed they could.
They believed that they could exist, which is faith.
Yeah.
And so then you run into that issue where it's like, is faith based in reality?
I think it's based.
Some of it probably is, and that's probably why faith exists in the first place.
Reality, is that part of it
is
oral tradition.
Yes,
I think a lot of faith has to do with what's real.
Yeah,
like tangible.
I guess that's my thing. Is let's take away oral history, tradition, literature, and stuff like that.
If you take that away, then you're here.
Exactly.
You have nothing before here.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, the things that come before here is all that make us believe in certain things. Believe in God, believe in vampires, believe in fairies, believe in dogs. All those things, like if I had never seen a dog before, but I had if we as humans had no history of dogs, we'd be like, what the is a dog, dude?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Came with 4 legs.
To be fair, it's taking everything to a baseline for sure, which is very vague and everything, but But still, at the end of the day, that's all faith or anything like that is. And I'm not trying to talk anyone out of religion or believing in aliens, believing in vampires, or whatever you want to believe in. I think that's great. I think it's fantastic that we as humans are sentient enough and knowledgeable enough that we can base things on previous experiences to believe in things.
For sure.
But if we take those things away, do those things exist? No.
We wouldn't know of them.
Yeah.
So we would literally...
But existence is based on the fact that do we know it exists? Or
so
existence is based on our knowledge. Again, it goes back to the object permanence thing.
But you run back to a very treacherous line.
Yeah.
If you're here and you said, we do away with all this and we're here, the first time I see a bird, I'm going to shit my pants.
Yeah.
So
that's okay.
You can't do away with what you knew.
Well, for sure. There are things that we know we can prove based on science and math. We know we have birds because of zoos. We know we have birds because of science and because of studies and stuff like that.
But if we did away with all that...
For sure. But those things are based in something that we can prove.
So...
Everything else is based
we both
elsewhere.
lean heavy on Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So if we go back to I'm sorry the podcast is going long, but if we go back to Bigfoot, there are footprints.
Yes.
We can't... That was a burp. We can't explain.
We can't explain.
There's hair samples.
But we can prove that those hair samples exist. We can prove that those footprints exist. We can prove these. We have solid evidence, physical evidence that these things exist. Yeah. There are other things that we don't. A picture I wouldn't consider physical evidence.
I'm torn on that one.
Nowadays, I wouldn't consider
not with AI.
Yeah, with AI, with Photoshop, anything. At post 1995, I would say, I wouldn't say photographs are solid physical evidence of anything.
Yeah, fair.
We have metadata and stuff that you can explore to try to figure out if it's tampered with or this or that. But at a general level, we're taking out all that because we'd be here forever. We're already here forever, but we'd be here forever. But can we prove these things exist through a picture? Yeah, sure. I can put fake teeth in, say I'm a vampire, and you can take a picture of me and prove it exists by a picture.
It was a vampire, and it was from 1500.
Yeah, throw a filter on it, yeah. But anyway, it's those kinds of things where it's like, I can go out and see a bird. I can go out to a store and grab a bird. I know birds exist. So yeah, we can use those previous lines of knowledge.
That's a dangerous line, man. You can't go with things that are readily available.
It is a danger, but that's the thing is you say
that's
we can't.
Not faith.
You say we can't go on things that are readily available.
I'm just telling you, it's not faith if you see things that are readily available. That's not faith. That's reality.
That's reality,
so
and that's where things should be based.
Faith is a step beyond that.
For sure. But to
me...
So
it's things you don't see readily available.
To me, as a, logistician, or as a logical man, as a realist, I'm based in reality.
Right.
What can I see? What can I prove?
So you don't believe in anything beyond what you can see?
I believe those things could exist. Do I believe they exist? No.
You believe they could.
That's
a very fair argument.
At a flat level, if we take it to base argument. Could or does? No, yes.
Yes. Fair.
I think it could.
My guy.
I think it could. Do I think it does? No.
You don't think it does because it's not within your current spectrum or your reality
as an open-minded person, as all people should be, I'm willing to change that though.
Yeah, that's
Since
fair.
It could, if aliens drop tomorrow. If the new expansion, the new human expansion, the DLC drops tomorrow, I'm downloading it, bro. I'm like, all right, we're aliens, Twilight ladies, yes sir.
I firmly believe aliens exist.
I do have a pretty strong belief that they do probably exist.
I do too.
But the word that I said, probably. That's where all my belief lies. It probably exists.
It's daintily dancing upon the lines
and that's
of
kind of where
reality
that's kind of where my personal relationship with God and religion is right now. I think it probably exists. As a logical person, if you were to ask me today, for a fact, proof, evidence, physical proof and evidence, Zach, do you think God is out there? I would tell you no. I'd tell you,
even though the physical evidence is out there.
Yeah, I would 100% because this is stuff that we could also prove other ways because we have. There's been plenty of people.
What about the Byzantine Empire?
Well, there's been plenty of people to say the Byzantine Empire or the bones of Jesus or the bones of this and that. these are things that we don't have DNA of Jesus.
Shroud of Turin?
Well,
Rogan.
Let's just take this for a second here, because this is a big thing everyone likes to bring up, is the bones of Jesus.
No, there were no bones of Jesus.
A lot of people like to bring up there were bones found.
That's current secular.
In an area that Jesus was supposedly...
Current secular. Yep.
Anyways, so a lot of people like to bring that up, and I just use that as an example. But do we have DNA to compare those bones of Jesus?
So if they were the bones of Jesus, let me tell you this.
Okay.
From a Christian mentality.
Okay.
If they were the bones of Jesus, Jesus never rose.
Right. Because the idea is that he rose.
So you look at us, and he was flesh again.
Yeah.
So if there were bones of Jesus, he never rose again.
For sure.
Which is a heavy secular push.
Yes, but as a logical man, when I hear that, I'm like, that sounds like an excuse to why there aren't bones. And I'm not arguing right now. Like, I'm not saying, again, I am a current believer of Jesus, of God, and whatnot. But if I take it purely logical, take faith or anything out of it, purely logical, purely physical evidence.
Joe Rogan.
No bones of Jesus, therefore, no Jesus.
This is not episode. We're totally not going.
Yeah.
Crypto, we love you. Adios.
Goodbye.
So the Shroud of Turin.
Okay.
Are you familiar with it?
A little bit loosely.
Okay, so Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan now goes to church.
Let's tiptoe there.
No. Let's just say Joe Rogan now goes to church.
Let's also throw out there he's very, very liberal minded, which is good.
He is
good for your argument. It's very good because because most liberal people aren't religious people.
We take the fact that Joe Rogan at one point was not. Joe Rogan used to jab at Christians and make fun of Christians. He was almost like Saul before the Paul.
Yeah.
If you will. Persecuted Christians. Made fun of Christians.
Yeah.
I see a transition of Joe Rogan from Saul to the Paul. Mm-hmm. Where now this man who
Let's also take into account the people that he's associated himself with in the last few years have definitely changed toward more religious and conservative beliefs versus the people who he used to have on who were very liberal and non-religious.
I think it's because he's hungry.
Okay.
But he's a host. He could have anybody in the world. It's Joe Rogan. He could have anybody in the world on his show.
But we do have to secede to the fact that he, nowadays, just because of how heavily his podcast is very controversial. From a commercial standpoint, if I have a commercial podcast that has a lot of conservative or religious people, I hate that conservative and religious go hand in hand nowadays because I think you could be liberal and religious. I think you could be conservative and atheist. But for some reason nowadays they go hand in hand. So we're gonna walk with the concept that we have right now. So right now, as of the last 4 or 5 years, everything that he's had, that people he's surrounded himself with, his echo chamber that he's forming around himself is religious conservative based.
Why?
I'm not saying that's good or bad.
Why?
Just because those people...
He's hungry.
Yeah, but he's hungry for knowledge, but he's also... These people get attention. At the end of the day, if we invite Ben Shapiro to the podcast tomorrow...
No, Ben Shapiro. I love Ben Shapiro.
But if we invite him to the podcast tomorrow, I'll be honest with you, I hate the dude. But if I invite him to the podcast, it's 100% because would it drive views? Yeah.
Well, it's the fact that he
could I argue with him? Yeah. So it would drive views.
I don't know, man. Ben Shapiro? You're a good arguer.
He uses,
I'll give you credit.
My problem with Ben Shapiro is that he uses a lot of straw man arguments, and then when you try to argue past that, he gets very insulting.
Charlie Kirk.
He uses very insulting. Charlie Kirk's a little bit better.
Could you hit him?
I think I could argue.
Oh no!
I think so.
Okay, I think you could go.
Give me a week or so to make sure that I'm studied up on whatever we're talking about.
I think toe for toe out of the gate. Wow, you and Ben Shapiro could go back and forth.
Oh yeah.
I think you and Charlie Kirk, you would be a different dude.
You think so?
100%. Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a smart dude.
He's a I'm
not saying you're not.
No.
But I'm saying
I will never take away the fact that even Ben Shapiro is intelligent.
No. He's intelligent, but you're right. He comes from one angle heavily.
And it's
Charlie
not just
Kirk
that.
is just like Charlie Kirk had a girl give him a nip slip on his show, and he just still stayed true to the message of Christ the whole entire time. Yeah. He didn't care. Charlie Kirk is on a mission.
Yeah, but then there's people like if you brought what is his name? Oh, the big dude, evangelical dude.
No, don't hit me with that guy I don't like.
Yeah, no one likes him. No, not even religious people.
The money
like
guy?
The money guy. Yeah, what's his name?
Osteen.
Joel Osteen. Yeah. If you brought him on here,
we would both destroy him.
We'd eat him alive.
We wouldn't even give him any wings. We'd be like, nah, sir.
You can't have the wings, man. Angela made these.
He's like, yeah, and Jesus is going to give you money. No, Jesus never promised money, buddy. Anyway.
That's the root of all evil.
But, dude, I enjoyed diving into cryptozoology.
This was wild. We went all over the place.
We did, and that's us.
It's fun, though. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's conversation.
So,
it's how conversation works.
I think diving into debunking Givaudan completely, but also sharing.
I think we need to bring Tommy on, man. My boss.
Yeah,
I told you he has a doctorate or whatever.
You mean to punch him?
No.
Oh,
and
okay. Sorry, I was ready.
He has
to
a
fight.
doctorate in divinity and religious studies.
Okay. Well, not the next episode.
It'd be an not next episode. So, eventually, I think it'd be an interesting episode because you're a very faith-driven man.
Yeah.
You have your own experiences and stuff that believe,
Fair.
And again, let me preface this for all the people out there in the podcast. I am a current believer in the Lord.
Good on you.
But I also believe I have free will, and I have
definitely.
I think I have the right to doubt that or question.
You should.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, everyone should, whether
Absolutely.
or not.
Paul tells us that in the Bible.
So, but I think it would be very interesting for one person to have this studied nature, academic studied nature of religion, and a man of faith experience, and then a man who's kind of skeptical.
Yeah,
and
that would be a hell of a show. Hell of a show.
That's going to be a long episode, I think.
It'll be a fun one. So next episode, guys, we are going to dive into mental health.
Are we going to do that next episode? I didn't know if we had what's his face.
Well, if he can join, he can talk about it. That's kind of where I'm at. So next episode will definitely be about mental health. Mental health.
May was mental health month, but
or June. June is.
Is it June? I thought it was
June.
May.
No, it's June.
Either
June
way,
is
one
mental
of these
health
months are mental health
but
month.
We are going to
we're trying to figure out where to put it. But
from two guys who've been through a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
That is
obviously you could tell from our conversations experience.
But stuff that is.
What was that, dude?
Did
you just squawk?
My mental health episode, but not to make light of mental health episodes, but it's. I think it's something that's important that we talk about.
I think it needs to be.
I think it
more.
does. I think it needs to be aired.
I'm sure there are people that do talk about it, but I think it needs. I think there are always new perspectives that should be shown.
I think if
on
it ruffles your feathers, then maybe you need your feathers ruffled. I would agree. I think that's very fair.
I would agree.
And if you're not listening, then I don't care. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a lot of stuff that gets covered. A lot of stuff we talk about, we deep dive into from personal experience. It's going to be a painful episode.
If you want me to, I can even purposely forego the Lexapro for another couple of weeks to see, so that we have someone that's dealing with their mental health appropriately, and then someone over here that's like, bro, I'm in the middle of it. Let me tell you.
I think it's something next episode. I was talking to Connor. I don't know what his schedule looks like. I would like to have Connor on. Yeah. For the next episode,
we talked about Connor from Las Vegas Reptiles.
Las Vegas Reptiles. Have him on.
We've talked about Blake
Woodson. It'll probably be July. I think we need to bring Blake Woodson. Blake is a phenomenal guy. He's a character, and he'll take over the show. Yeah, Blake is a hero.
Yeah. We've talked about Tommy.
Tommy coming on.
Religious stuff. We've talked about. Other bosses of mine for just gaming stuff, gaming store stuff, entrepreneurial stuff.
I've got a couple of buddies. One of them will soon be in Arkansas, actually. Plan on bringing him on the show to let him talk to us about some stuff. He's a super cool guy. I think he'll be an interesting injection into the show because he's a different perspective. Super smart. He's definitely an orator, for sure. He can talk. But bringing him on the show, let him chime in. Whatever we're talking about, it doesn't matter. We'll bring him on as a guest. We will eventually bring Joe back onto the show. I know none of you have mentioned bringing Joe back, but we're going to bring Joe back. We're going to have him on for some color commentary, have Joe back on the show.
Joe's always He's a talker.
Joe's one of the dudes. We're gonna bring him back.
There's definitely things that I think his opinions and talking points are valuable.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Joe back. He's on vacation right now, so we'll bring.
Everywhere. He's all across America right now.
He's meeting with the
Tennessee,
Skinwalkers.
North Carolina. He's in Appalachia right now.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Joe back on a show here in the near future. Have him on. Let him chime in.
Assuming he's not taken by the Skinwalkers.
If he gets taken by a Skinwalker, then we'll have a Skinwalker on the next episode.
Oh no!
But yeah,
just screams the whole episode.
Yeah. Who are you? But
get him out of here.
He still sounds like Joe. Anyway, but we're gonna bring some new guests coming on soon. Hopefully you guys stick around for episodes 6, 7, and 8. We definitely have some cool stuff planned. Hopefully you enjoyed the Cryptozoology episode.
Yeah.
We don't deep dive. We just surface touch. We talk about a little bit of things and where we're at with it.
There's a lot of these things we can come back and hit later.
Hell yeah,
we can do another crypto episode. We can do another Star Wars episode. There's things that's like we can constantly hit these.
Star Wars
is
all the time.
Right now always gaining new stuff. So
yeah.
We could just keep talking about it. Like video games. There's always new games. There's always new streaming things.
Speaking of streaming, make sure you are checking out Zenith Dark Sky. He's on everything. Zenith
Dark
Sky.
Dude, I'm in the Dollar General in the corner with my gaming setup streaming, dude.
Check us out in Mattrixx Gaming or Mattrixx Mattrixxz. Make sure you check me out. Give us a follow if you heard us here for the first time. Make sure you pop on TikTok. That's where I'm streaming currently. I'll be on Twitch soon. Not yet, but soon. I'll be over on the land of Twitch. So make sure you check us out. But guys, I want to thank again Angela for the phenomenal wings.
Fantastic, best wings we've had.
Hands down, best wings we've had.
I ate so much wings. You guys can't see it.
There's like one hot wing left. It's right there. You want it?
No.
Okay. One hot wing left, but also thank Tum Tums Num Nums.
Thank all the ladies of the house.
Oh my God. Yeah, she supplied us with a phenomenal brownie that we devoured rather quickly, I will say. And U.S. Pawn and Loan, our sponsor. Give them a thank you. Guys, don't forget, 10% off firearms, and if you're in the need for some money, 50% off your first pawn, which means instead of paying a 25% payback, you pay a 12.5% payback.
That's in Austin, Arkansas.
Dude, Austin, Arkansas. It's right on the corner of 319 and Highway 5. Make sure you tell them that Beer and Wings sent you there, or you don't get the deal.
Yeah.
That's it.
The easiest way I've always described, if you're in Arkansas and you're listening, the easiest way I've described this is you going from Highway 5 through El Paso, you're going toward Cabot, Little Rock. Just stay on that road. You will hit an intersection, you will look at your left and realize that's U.S. Pawn and Loan.
It's a big old building, guys.
If you live in Arkansas and you've been through Central Arkansas, you've probably seen the place to go to Little Rock or this or that, and you just didn't realize it. Check it out, dude.
Yeah, 100% under new management. Daryl and Rebecca, awesome folks. They actually have an entire used car dealership there, brand new zero-turn mower dealership there.
And the car dealership does not work the same as the pond area. Like
good call out. They're two separate entities. You've got the pond side, which you can find some cool. We found when we did the commercial. We found some cool.
I have a game store, and even though I have gaming stuff at our game store, I work at a game store. But when I was at the pawn shop, I was like, dude, there's stuff here that we don't have.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. So definitely worth a check out. 10% off either retail or firearm. Firearms they're including 10% off on a firearm. Or if you're, hey, I need a few bucks. Cool. Hit them up for the pawn. They will give you 50% off on your full first pawn.
50%.
Instead of 25% interest, which means if you get $100, you have to pay back $125. If you get $100, you only have to pay back $12.50. Yeah. That is nothing.
12.5% interest.
Super simple. But again, thanks to U.S. Pawn and Loan. Thanks for being willing to sponsor the show. Yeah. Regular sponsor for sure. Magawana, we're waiting on you. Tell us something. We love you guys. I know Zach and Celeste went and visited your shop. They were really impressed. And me and my wife, Angela, we visited your shop. We were super impressed. We would love to do a sponsorship with you guys if you're interested. But the wings again, the brownies again. Oh my God, it was the best night
Fantastic,
ever.
dude.
As far as beer and wings, this night
as far as the food portion,
took the cake.
I've been working out, and I'm gonna have to work harder now.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. But guys, make sure you follow our streams on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Leave reviews for sure. We love the feedback. You can always email us at beerandwingspod@gmail.com. I almost hit it with a .com again. Damn.
beerandwingspod@gmail.com.
I'll just let Zach
It doesn't get more simple than that.
No, just
you
hit
know
us
how
back.
to spell beer, you know how to spell and you know how to spell wings. If you don't know how to spell pod, you've been drinking too much like we have. And then
possibly.
at gmail.com. Everyone's got a Gmail. You know what it is. At gmail.com. Email us.
Hit us up. Let us know feedback. I've put out a couple of polls. The poll on Spotify has been really light. So if you guys are listening on Spotify, hit those polls. Mm-hmm. Let us know what you think about things. Let us
know if you want that video. If you want the live stream of
next episode, we are willing to go TikTok live. If you guys are down, we are willing to go TikTok live on the next episode. Just let us know when you hear this. I want TikTok live. And we will definitely go TikTok live on the next episode. But until then, guys, I love you guys. Thank you for all the support for the 5 episodes we've been on.
5 episodes.
And
it's insane support for 5 episodes.
Insane support. You guys have been amazing. So until the next time, good luck and have all the fun.
Goopchi. Bye.